Hello, hello, hello to all of my lovely viewers out there. If you're a returning subscriber, you know how much I love you, and I'm so glad to see you back here in my home. And if you're new here, I do hope that after your reading, you will consider subscribing. My little tribe over here I call my lovelies because you are all so lovely to me. And today's reading is kind of a unique idea. I was inspired by a lot of the personal readings that I do. So before I opened my Etsy shop and my YouTube channel, which I'll leave links to the Etsy shop down below if you're interested in a private reading. But before all of that, I was doing readings just from my home, and I still do them occasionally if I have a client who lives nearby, and I wanted to kind of mimic and emulate how that process works. So I have my little spread. I bought this over a year ago. It's actually kind of taped now because I've folded it and unfolded it so many times. It's kind of like the Celtic cross spread. And I'm actually working on creating my sister, my creative sister, who does the earrings that I wear. Her Etsy shop is down below, but she's working on kind of creating something a little more appealing. But this is a great, great spread to use. And yeah, hopefully sometime soon I'll have a really colorful, pretty one, maybe with my channel name on it or something, that I'll be offering on Etsy. But I want to use this today because most of the time when I have clients come to my home, they have kind of a specific question that they want answered, and it usually involves like a situation in their life. And so this spread's really great because it shows the future outcome, like what you're headed towards in regards to this situation. And so I do want you, before you pick your pile, to kind of think of a question that you want answered, something that has like an outcome where you're wondering like, where am I headed in regards to this, or how will this situation resolve, or what should I know about X, Y, and Z? That would be a great sort of question to pose. Now, if you don't have a question that you want answered, which happens sometimes as well, I just, tell the client, well, let's just sit down and see what spirit wants to bring up for you. A lot of times that's how I gain their initial trust. A client maybe doesn't want to give me too much information because they're still feeling me out, seeing what kind of reader I am. So they'll say, I don't have any questions. I just want to see what comes up. And then after what comes up is accurate, then they'll, get into more details and maybe more specific questions. So you're welcome to do that as well. So I have all of my tarot decks here in front of me. So today, instead of choosing piles, because I'm wanting this to work how a personal reading in my home would work, I want you to choose a tarot deck. So typically when someone comes to my home, I tell them to have a seat. I always have fresh coffee made, which is what I'm sipping on right now. And I show them my tarot decks and ask them to just pick a deck that they are drawn to or feel more connected to, and then we start from there. And so I'll shuffle the cards, and as I'm shuffling, Spirit will kind of yank cards out of the deck. I call those jumpers, and we will fill up the spread. So here in a bit, I will flash a picture on my table of the tarot deck options that we have. I have 7 tarot decks. Everything else back here are oracle cards, which I'm a big collector of. I love oracle cards. But here's all my tarot decks. And you'll select the tarot deck you feel most drawn to, ask any question you would like, or just see what comes up for you. And then the timestamps will be down below. So I will see you guys in a bit. Love you. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello, it's so lovely to see you here in person. Go ahead and grab a seat, make yourself comfortable. I do have fresh coffee over here if you would like a cup. And let's get into your reading for today. So I have my spread out here. This is the deck you've chosen, which is a tarot deck that I absolutely adore. I actually purchased this in New York when I was visiting one of my many, many sisters. Maybe I'll throw a picture of her up here. This is the Tarot of Angels, and the imagery is just so like old-timey and just gorgeous. So I'm excited to get into this with you. So just hold your question in your mind, and I'm going to shuffle through the cards and lay out my spread, and then I will talk to you about what I am seeing. Okay, so I have all of your cards laid out, and I'll just start going through each card. I'll show you each, explaining what I'm seeing, and then I may pull from the tarot again, or I may think of a few oracle decks I want to pull from just to help clarify the message for you. But let's go ahead and get started with the astrological die. I'm going to roll this. This might help give me an overall energy for the reading. Okay, this one fell in my lap. Okay, so we have the 7th house in Sagittarius with Mercury there. So Mercury in the 7th house in Sagittarius. So 7th house is about our one-on-one relationships, marriage life, business transactions, business partners, even, you know, enemies or people that we are against. Kind of represents the other. Okay. And Sagittarius is about expansion. It's about foreigners, foreign travel, spirituality, religious ideals. And Mercury is also about business transactions, trips, short trips and travel, as well as our communication skills and our learning. So that's going to be kind of the energy that Spirit wants to bring up for you today in regards to whatever situation we are going to discuss. So I'll expand on the die as we move through the reading. So in the present position, which is here, and this represents kind of what Spirit is wanting to bring up. All the other cards are going to help expand on this present position. But so we have the Page of Swords. This is air energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It's a page, so this is either, it could be a young child, a younger person, or it could represent the inner child, as well as, you know, the page is kind of the first court card in the suit of swords, and it represents kind of learning, investigating, kind of soaking up knowledge and information. Goes really well with the Mercury that came up. So and what's crossing that energy is the Justice card. This is Libra energy, so this could be a Libra person in regards to the situation. Libra could be one of your, you know, prominent signs in your chart, and Libra is a really it's a much more advanced energy in comparison to the page. You know, the page is kind of the baby, it's starting out, you know, definitely not an expert in regards to what it is that you're approaching. Whereas Libra, this is the, or Justice card, this is the judge, you know, that balances the scales, that maintains justice and righteousness, that makes that final call on this is right, that is wrong, you know, keeps things fair. So it looks like there's something that is being kind of investigated or analyzed or kind of learned about. Or, you know, if that doesn't really apply, then this could be in regards to a child and perhaps a custody battle or some sort of court ruling in regards to an air sign. Okay, so it could go either way, but I don't want you to tell me what it is until just I'll continue going, and then you can kind of explain kind of what direction this is going for you, which one of these it represents. Okay, so that's kind of the present position or situation. Now the goal or the destiny, that's up here. So this is what you're aiming towards in regards to all this. This is kind of what you want to happen. 2 cards came out. First, the 3 of Wands, and then the Lovers. So more air energy. The Lovers is Gemini. So far we've got a Libra card and a Gemini card. So strong air energy. Now, the 3 of Wands, this is someone who is calling the shots on their life. This is kind of the entrepreneurial energy of, you know, I'm the CEO, I'm the business owner. I don't grovel for anyone. They come to me. I'm going to sit here and the business is going to come in and start flowing in. I'm not going to make the first move. People are going to come to me. I'm on my own territory, on my own ground where I have the upper hand. So you want the upper hand somehow in regards to this. You want business, or you want whatever it is you're seeking out, you want it to come to you, and you want to feel strong and solid. And this could be in regards to a relationship, like love life. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but this could be in regards to, because the 7th house came up on the die especially, some sort of significant relationship where things may be at a standstill. Or even if it's business or business partnership, you're in this phase of like where things may be at a standstill, and it feels like you are just waiting for the scales to balance. Like you feel like I've done what I need to do, and I'm not making, now it's time for karma to take over and do what's fair and do what's right. Now, there is some sort of investigating still going on because we have this Page of Swords, but you do feel strongly that it's like the other person's move, or you've set up the business, now it's just time for the customers to come in, like there's nothing more I can do. But there is still, it's like there's a feeling of there's some sort of truth that needs to be uncovered, or you feel that way, like maybe I don't have all the information, but I do feel that I am right, and that I am due something. That's kind of the energy here. And with the Lover's card as well, if nothing that I have said really applies, this could be about you, because the Lover's card, these are two people who have been under their parents' roof and have made the choice to walk towards one another and become adults themselves, become the leaders of their own lives, which really matches this Three of Wands sort of energy. So for some of you, it could be, I'm ready to finally graduate college, or I have finally graduated college, and I'm ready to make that next move to, ascend to the next level, to really take ownership of my life, be in charge of my own life, not have to rely on anyone or anything. So that could also be something as well. But basically, you guys have this goal of, I want to stand strong, and it's time for justice to be served to me. Like, I've done what I need to do. I'm going to continue investigating and learning, but it is time for something to come to me. I have earned that right. That's kind of the feeling, which I think is great. You feel very strong, okay? And whatever situation that Spirit is talking about here, you feel strong and solid, and I like that. You feel confident, and I like that about you. So let's take a look at the distant past. That'll be this card here. This will be some sort of situation Spirit wants to bring up that occurred in the distant past, which means a year ago or more. A year ago, something that occurred either at least a year ago, but it could go all the way back to childhood. This could be a childhood cycle, that's playing out, that is somehow having an effect on the current situation. So the card that came up for you is the Page of Cups. So again, another page. This is a young energy. Now, this is water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So this could have to do with some sort of younger or more immature water sign that you had some sort of relationship or interaction with in the past, and somehow the remnants of that relationship are still playing out in this current situation, or still having an effect. Or this could be, for a lot, it could be something about, as a younger person, during your childhood, you had this sort of Page of Cups energy, which is a very vulnerable, open, very loving, very emotional sort of energy and nature about you. And perhaps you ended up hurt through being so open, so vulnerable, so loving. You ended up hurt over time. And so you eventually decided that like, it was because I was so open and vulnerable and loving that I ended up hurt. So I'm now going to emotionally detach. I'm no longer going to delve into the cup of my emotions. That's enough of that. From now on, this is all about emotionally detaching, staying with my logic, no longer making decisions based on my emotions, and focusing on just learning and investigating and being emotionally detached, because I don't want to, no, I'm not opening up again, because I've seen where that has gotten me. It could be that, but I think I'm going to clarify that. So I'm going to pull out this card because this is the bottom of the deck energy, which I am going to show you here in a bit. But Spirit, could you please clarify this distant past situation, the Page of Cups? Okay, yeah, okay. So we have the Judgment card. So yeah, this was you making a judgment call at some point to no longer delve into this Page of Cups energy. So you were naturally born very sensitive, maybe even a bit psychic, but very sensitive and open to your emotions and the emotions of others. But at some point you were like, I'm washing this away. No more of this emotional stuff. It's getting me sidetracked. It hurts. It's too painful. So I'm making the judgment call to kind of wash this away and be reborn as this sort of logical, emotionally detached, intelligent sort of energy to move me forward. Okay, so somehow that's having an effect on how you're handling this current situation, because a long time ago you kind of shelved your emotions to stay focused on your logic and the facts and sort of like reality. Okay, so in the recent past, a situation that is having an effect on the current situation in recent past is always like within the last year, okay? Anywhere from 12 months to like where you are now, something that occurred recently that's having an effect. So 2 cards came up. First, we have the 3 of Pentacles, and then we have the 7 of Pentacles. So there was something in the recent past that started as a collaboration, okay? Working together with somebody or something, collaborating with them. Or this could have been other people collaborating without you. That, I don't know, it feels suspicious, okay? It feels like you are suspicious of something. So let me play out the 2 scenarios it could have been. You could have started working together with someone on something, some sort of idea, some sort of project, some sort of decision, and at some point you pulled away. Maybe you were distrusting of this person. I don't know. You sort of pulled away and decided to kind of like, no, I'm going to go plant these seeds and do this thing on my own because I don't like this. You know, I don't like having to compromise or work with their ideas, and I don't even know if I can trust them fully with the responsibility of this. So it could have been that, or it could have been that you noticed that someone that was supposed to be collaborating with you kind of went off and started doing their own thing. Now, if this is a relationship, this could be, you know, a breakup that happened because of your choosing, or a breakup that happened because, you know, someone on either side wasn't being so faithful. In a business kind of sense, this could be a partner that you don't feel that you can fully trust with what they're saying they're going to provide for you, and you decided to kind of detach from that and work on your own. Or in a work environment, similar sort of thing. Maybe you were supposed to be handed a certain project or a certain promotion, and you know, you started feeling like it was empty promises. So with Pentacles though coming up on both of these cards, this is something that, you know, took a lot of time, took a lot of energy, took a lot of effort, and was supposed to provide you with a tangible result. So not just an idea, not just an emotion, but something that changed your physical reality and your physical world. And so that event, whatever that was, even if it wasn't directly related to the situation we're talking about now, whatever happened in that event, however it changed your perspective or made you feel or whatever, it's having an effect on how you're handling and dealing with things now in the present moment. Now, the future influence. Let's talk about this because 2 cards came up. It's interesting because they're both court cards, which typically represents people, but we'll see. And the future influence means this is energy or something that's going to be coming and happening to you anytime from now to within the next 3 months, okay? This is energy coming your way within the next 3 months starting now. The first card that came out was the Queen of Swords, so more air energy, but now we've got the Queen, and this is Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. So either you are going to be graduating from this sort of Page of Swords energy, being the Page, all the way up to being the Queen, which is pretty freaking awesome. So whatever you're working towards, if that scenario applies to you, you are about to really move way, way up in terms of your intelligence in regards to this situation, your capabilities, your strength in making quick, clear-cut decisions, like having a clarity of mind, no longer being in that investigation mode, but now like knowing exactly how to handle it and what needs to happen without having to think too much about it. Or this could represent an air sign female that's literally going to be coming towards you. And so for those of you kind of wondering about, you know, relationship, then it could be that. Now, it doesn't have to be female, but it would at least be an air sign person that embodies kind of, that it has a more feminine nature, okay? And that could be why the Queen's coming out here. I wanted to clarify this, and the Knight of Pentacles came out. So the Knight of Pentacles is a very well-studied energy, and this is someone who is carefully planting seeds for the future. This is not someone who lives by their emotions or makes brash decisions. This is someone thinking far ahead into the future and about their abundance and their security and their stability. So both of these paired together, this is like a very mature, stable energy. And the difference with the Knight of Pentacles versus like the King of Pentacles. So if the King of Pentacles came up here, I would say, oh wow, you're really going to have a lot of money coming to you over the next few months. With the Knight of Pentacles, this is more of, wow, you're really going to have the willpower and the drive to start generating more money, and you're going to be planting those seeds very thoughtfully and carefully over the next few months. So the abundance will come, after that planting of the seed, but in the next 3 months, you're just going to have this drive and this stamina to start planting those seeds and bringing stability into your future. Which brings me to the original, the back of the deck energy that came up. Normally, I talk about this before I get into the tarot. That didn't happen. You know, I guess things always happen for a reason. So we're going to talk about it now because it fits in well. So the back of the deck energy is always, is when I finish laying out all the cards in a spread, okay, and I'm done. All the cards have been laid. I glance at the card that happens to be at the very bottom of the deck. And that card kind of tells me what the overall energy for the reading is, or what it's meant to talk about or be about, okay? Kind of like the way I used my dice at the beginning. Queen of Pentacles is what came out. This is earth energy, so Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, female, an older, more mature female. And with this being the overall energy, it's like what you're really working towards. What this is really all about is your security, your stability, not just financially, but emotionally as well, mentally as well, and really stepping into your abundance, your feminine abundance, like embracing your femininity and the way that it can make you stable and abundant and happy and at peace, okay? Which is beautiful. I love that. Okay, so future influence next 3 months, I'm seeing a major upgrade in all of that for you. So now let's get to the last line of the reading here. This first card is a card that represents you in regards to this whole situation, who you are in this situation. And we have the 8 of Cups. Now the 8 of Cups, this is a man who has spent a lot of time and energy caring for these 8 cups behind him. But he has now realized that although he spent a lot of time and energy on these cups, they just no longer fulfill him. And as hard as it is to walk away from something that you've spent so many years on, he recognizes that it's just not fulfilling anymore. He has to walk away. There's something bigger and better for him on the other side of everything. So he is reluctantly, walking away, which is the right thing to do. So there's definitely something in regards to all of this that you have chosen to pull away from. You've come to a place of maturity in your life where you've recognized that thing, that person, that job, whatever it is, just doesn't serve you, and you have to walk away. And so I think that that's great. I love seeing that card come out in regards to this, because I do see you are going to be upgrading things. You're doing the right thing, and you're doing it from a place of logic and emotional detachment, which isn't always the right way to go. Sometimes I give readings to people and I say, look, you've got to connect back to those emotions. You're going to have to make this decision from your gut. But I think that you're being smart, and that you've recognized that in this situation, going off your emotions wouldn't serve you. You've got to tap into that logic. You've got to emotionally detach to make sure you're doing the right thing. So bravo to you for that. So a card to represent your environment. This could represent the environment that this situation is occurring in, or a person in your environment that this situation is about. And we have the 4 of Swords. So if this is an environment in general, okay, I'll touch on that first before I describe what kind of person this could be. If this is just your environment, then this is an environment of kind of rest, isolation, solitude, an environment where you've really had a lot of time to think, recuperate, and recover from whatever may have occurred to get you to the point that you're at. And just really spend some time thinking without anybody else's influence on that thinking. Now, if this is a person in your environment in regards to this is someone who has pulled away, maybe ghosted a bit, is self-isolating and detaching themselves, and really isn't in a place to be able to communicate with you for whatever reason. They could be in recovery of some sort of their own, in therapy or a hospital, or something like that. But there's a kind of a wall, a physical wall, kind of separating you from this other person, if that's the case for you. So in your inner emotions, this card represents kind of what you're hoping for deep down, or it could be what you're most fearful of, but this is what's going on with you internally. And we have the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is a woman who is elderly, so she is wise, and she is well studied in her craft. Whatever it is that she does for a living that earns her these pentacles, this money, she knows it like the back of her hand. She is so good at it. And so because of her wisdom and her years spent kind of mastering this craft, she's able to create abundance for herself, stability for herself, but also abundance and stability by doing something that she is obsessed with, something that she absolutely adores. So all that work that she puts into it, all the time and the energy spent on it, don't feel like a drain on her at all. If anything, it fulfills her. It gives her excitement. It gives her joy. So internally, you're looking for something that, yes, requires hard work, just like everything does. Anything worth doing requires that hard work and that persistence and that dedication. But you're looking for something that gives back to you as well. Something that you know you're going to put in that hard work for, that persistence, that dedication, and it's going to give you fulfillment as well, and happiness and joy, simultaneously, which I think is a great thing to be hoping for and aiming towards. This is not you guys do not give off, you guys give off the opposite of whatever lazy energy represents. You guys are very hardworking, very dedicated. You guys would be great judges, or anything that has to do with the courts or laws or decision making on behalf of others. You guys would be great at that, because you know how to detach and look at something from a broad perspective and figure out what needs to be done. So now let's get to our final card, which is what you're heading towards right now. The final result, if you continue the way you are going. And this final result will be coming to you within the next 6 months. So we have the future influence, which is coming to you anytime from now to the next 3. Final result is what you're headed towards if you keep going, and it will come to you within the next 6 months, okay? So 2 fabulous cards. We have the Strength card, which is Leo energy, as well as the 9 of Wands. So let's talk first about the 9 of Wands. This is a man who is almost at the very end of his journey. He's at the 9. Only one more card, and he's at the very end. He's at the 10. So you can see he's kind of older. He looks tired. He looks exhausted, right? And he has fought so many battles, so many wars. He's gone through so much to get to where he is now. But he now sees the light at the end of the tunnel. He knows he's just right there on the cusp of getting what he wants and being at the end of this journey, okay? And with the Strength card kind of backing up the energy of that card, I mean, it is what it says. This is immense strength. This is personal power. This is willpower, absolute willpower, but willpower and strength through self-love and self-devotion. So if this is in regards to a person, this could literally be a Leo person that will be coming into your life in the next 6 months, especially if we're talking about relationships, then a Leo could be coming in to provide you with this stability. But this could just be in regards to your own self. And whatever situation this is that Spirit brought up for you, this Page of Swords justice situation, you will be receiving that through your own strength, your own courage, your own dedication within the next 6 months. You're walking towards it. Now, you won't be at the very, very end because we have the 9, but you will be dang close to getting exactly what it is you are aiming towards. And ultimately, it's going to bring you long-term, stability, long-term stability. So I'm trying to think if there are any oracle cards I would like to pull for you. Let me look at my library over here and think of what I want to pull just to kind of tie this whole reading up for you. Okay, so I grabbed 2 different decks. So for those of you that this is pertaining to a love situation, I'm going to pull one of these. And then for those of you that this is pertaining to something else, I'm going to pull from my Sacred Travelers deck. So let's start with the Sacred Traveler card, which could apply to love life as well. And then I'll pull a card from the Romance Angels deck, okay? All right, Spirit, could you please pull a card out of the Sacred Traveler deck that will help further explain or give guidance on this situation? This is so perfect. It says, ascending the mountain, keep going forward. So whatever it is here that you left behind, you did the right thing. Keep going forward. You are headed towards your ultimate goal. Whatever that is, you're walking towards it. So it's not that this is going to be a super easy ride. You're ascending a mountain like the goat, like the Capricorn goat. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be fulfilling. It's going to feel good to get to the top of that mountain and be like, I did it. I walked towards what I was meant to walk towards. So, okay, let's pull from the Romance Angels deck. So, Spirit, could you please pull a Romance Angels card for the clients that came here for a love reading? What's going on in their love life? What do they need to know in regards to this situation? Interesting. Okay, it says religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. which is interesting because the Sagittarius die came out, which represents kind of religion and our religious beliefs. And Mercury, also came out, which is all about kind of learning and investigating. So this could have something to do with, I feel like you are having a shift in perspective. And, with the Lover's card as well, which is about leaving your parents behind and coming into your own adulthood. I think that you are, for the first time, kind of investigating a lot of the truths of life, the overall meaning of life, and you're having some changes that may differ greatly from your upbringing in the past and the ideals that your parents instilled in you. And that's okay. You're ascending to a different level. You're coming into your own, questioning what it is that you believe, not just what you've been taught to believe, but what do you truly believe? And those questions that you're asking and the investigations that you're making may separate you from some people in your past and some ideas and traditions from your past. Yes. And, that might be difficult, to walk away from that, but it's not serving you. That's not your truth. So you're coming into your own truth, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And keep pushing forward, keep ascending that mountain, because you're only going to become more wise, more knowledgeable, and more fulfilled and stable as you keep moving towards that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming into my home. I enjoyed reading for you, and I do hope that you come back sometime soon. And best of luck on this journey. You guys can do it. You guys have the strength and the willpower to accomplish anything. Just a great energy from you coming off of this pile. So I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello, welcome to your reading. Welcome to my home. I'm so glad you stopped by for this personal reading. Go ahead and grab yourself a fresh cup of coffee if you'd like, and just make yourself comfortable. I love the deck that you chose. This is a really, really artistic sort of deck. It's called the Nicoletta Cecily Tarot, and all the images have these sort of, I don't know, fairy-like, somber-looking girls on them, but just beautiful, beautiful cards. So I can't wait to get into this reading for you and see what wants to come up. So I will start by just kind of shuffling and taking my jumper cards until I get all the cards laid out on this spread. While I'm doing that, just hold on to whatever question you were wanting answered today, or if there wasn't a particular question you wanted answered, then just standing strong in your personal energy, as that will assist kind of the correct cards coming out for this reading, okay? All right, so I have all the cards laid out. I'm ready to get into this reading. After I go through the tarot cards, if there's any oracle cards that I think would assist in kind of expanding on the message, I'll just hop over here and grab a deck or two, and we'll do it that way. But I want to start with kind of rolling my astrological die just to get an overall energy read, and then we'll take a look at the back of the deck energy. All right. Okay, so we have Sun in Aquarius in the 11th house, which Aquarius actually rules the 11th house. And Aquarius and the 11th house are kind of about our larger friendship groups or the larger networks and organizations that we're involved in. It also kind of represents our online network, social media, and kind of like our highest hopes and dreams as well. And the sun represents our ego. It represents kind of what feeds us internally. So this could have to do with, larger friendship groups, organizations, networks, online presence, something like that. Let's look at the back of the deck energy. So the back of the deck energy is the card that just so happens to be at the very bottom of the deck after I have finished kind of taking all the jumper cards needed for the spread. And it kind of gives us an overall energy read. Okay, back of the deck energy is Knight of Pentacles. And Knight of Pentacles is all about kind of planting seeds for the future. And you'll notice this little girl is kind of surrounded by all of these butterflies. These butterflies are just adoring her. And she also is rooted, grounded down into the earth. So she's rooted, she's grounded, she's stable, and these butterflies are just flocking to her and her beauty. So there's kind of an aspect of fame I'm feeling from this reading. Or at least like popularity or some sort of presence. That's kind of going to play a big part, I think, in this reading. So let's get into it. All right. So the present position, this is what Spirit is wanting to talk to you about, is this present position. So all the other cards after this are just going to be adding to and expanding on the message of this present position that Spirit wanted to bring up. Okay. So we have 4 of Cups. This is kind of a girl in like a snow globe. And crossing that energy is the Knight of Cups, which this is a very active energy, right? This little girl, this little knight, I mean, she's very active. She's going after it. She's getting what it is she wants. She's moving, which is very opposite to the 4 of Cups, which is this little girl who, let me see if I can make this focus. She's somber. She's trapped. There's no movement here. She's kind of in this period of waiting. So it feels like, and that Knight of Cups, that's water energy. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So that could be a person in particular in your life that is playing some role in this situation, or it could be you, but if not, it's just the overall energy. So there's this conflict or this polarity between this active desire to go after this emotional fulfillment and get what it is that you want, which is this emotional fulfillment and happiness and adoration, which is very opposite to, I think, what energy you're currently in, at least physically, literally, which is kind of feeling trapped, not really receiving, like waiting on that emotional fulfillment, but feeling like you don't have any way to move or make it happen. So internally, you're feeling very kind of pent up and fiery and ready to get this, ready to receive this. Externally, in your external environment, it feels like there's a lack of what it is you were after, okay? So this could be in regards to relationships or kind of your biggest dreams and ideals, like the 11th house that came up represents, like wanting it so badly and internally feeling very active and fiery about it and going after it. But in the external environment, it just feels like it's not happening, or there's not a way to make it happen. Okay, so the goal or destiny this is what you're aiming towards in regards to this whole situation. And what you're aiming towards is the 2 of Swords. Let me see if I can get this to focus. And so this is a little girl who was on one building here, and she made the choice to finally walk over to this other building. So she had 2 choices, either stay on this building or walk towards this one. And yeah, she made the choice to walk towards this particular building. And it looks scary. It looks frightening. She's on a tightrope. There's a risk involved. But she finally decided that, the risk is worth it. It's worth it, and I am going to make it across. So your goal or destiny, I think, is to ultimately trust yourself. Trust yourself to take this risk, to make this decision, and to walk towards what you really, really want, and to do it, to have the skill to do it, right? It takes skill to walk across that tightrope. It takes a sense of inner peace, right? When you walk across that tightrope and you make that decision, you don't want to be all trembly and shaky. You don't want to be looking down at the worst case scenario, the ground. You have to be really, really focused and deliberate about each step that you make. So yeah, it looks like you're wanting trust. You want to trust yourself to make that decision and to go for it, okay? Now, a situation or a person in the distant past that's having an effect on this current situation that Spirit has brought up. And by distant past, I mean anything from a year ago all the way back to childhood, okay? So it will just depend. But it's having an effect on today. And what came up was the Queen of Pentacles. So this could have been an earth sign that you had a relationship with. It could be like mother, an earth sign female, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo female, and her relationship with you and how it had an effect on maybe your perspectives and how you view things. Queen of Pentacles, this is someone who's very much focused on stability, right? They're focused on the money. They're focused on tangible efforts. Queen of Pentacles doesn't want to daydream. She doesn't want to talk about ideas. She doesn't want to, you know, do all these sort of creative, fun projects unless she knows it's going to help bring her stability. She wants the certificate. She wants the diploma. She wants the proof. She wants the money in her bank account. So this could be like a mother or a grandmother or some sort of female figure in your life that kind of instilled this in you, that, hey, if there are no results to what you're doing, if there's nothing tangible to what you're doing, then it is worthless. It could have given you that sort of mindset, which I think played into kind of your fear to try new things as well, because it's almost like the Queen of Pentacles, especially with this bull, this is a very stubborn, headstrong sort of energy. She's giving me this energy of like, it's almost better to not try, because then at least you won't fail. That's way better than to try something, to take a risk, to do something a little wacky and a little out there and fail. Like, that's worst case scenario. The trying and the failing is way, way worse than just sitting quietly, you know, doing things as they've always been done, not questioning, but at least you're not failing, right? And what Spirit's wanting to say in regards to whatever that Queen of Pentacles energy represents, it could be something that you just instilled in yourself, that if it's not tangible results, it's worthless, it's meaningless. But what Spirit's wanting to say in regards to all of this is to try and flip around that thinking. From Spirit's perspective, if you are trying, if you are doing, if you are walking towards something, no matter how the results of it come out, that's not a failure. You know, you came down here to earth to try, to experience, to do. And so Spirit doesn't view that as a failure. Spirit views it more as a failure if there's things internally that you want to do, that you want to go after, you want to try, and you're stopping yourself from doing that. That, in Spirit's eyes, is the failure. So they're wanting you to believe in yourself a little bit more, trust in those dreams, trust in your ideas, and to really experience life by going for it and taking the risk. So a situation in the recent past that's having an effect on the present position, which recent past is anywhere from a year ago to now. So within the past year. And we have the 10 of Cups. And this is like a little girl that is surrounded by all of these different toys, like so many options, right, for her emotional fulfillment. What is she going to play with? What is she going to do? So I'm feeling family. That's what I'm feeling from this card. And your view of yourself as a child, or your view of yourself as a child in somebody else's eyes. I know that sounds so weird. You may have been put in a situation where you had to move back in with your family or your parents, or I don't know, you were just had to start spending a lot more time with them, and it has eroded your confidence a bit in yourself, because, you know, anytime we're with mom or with dad, we're daughter once again, you know, we're baby once again. Our parents always view us as their children, right? They don't really view us as like grown, capable adults. And so we always kind of revert back to, you know, oh yeah, you're the one in charge of me. I'm just the child. You make all the decisions when we're around them. It's natural. But it feels like something kind of shook your confidence in that sense. Like you were interacting a lot more with I feel like it's parents or family in general that have these ideas and views of you that maybe you've outgrown, but that idea of you, they're never gonna really outgrow it, right? And it feels like it was kind of a blow to your confidence and your belief in yourself, that I may think of myself as this and that, but it must not be true, because, you know, these people in my life who I trust their opinion, they view me as this, that, and the other instead. So maybe I'm not what I'm aiming towards. Maybe I'll never be able to be that. Maybe it's not who I am. Like, they don't believe I could be that, so maybe I can't. And so that is having an effect on how you're feeling about whatever this emotional fulfillment is that you're wanting to go after. There's just a lack of belief in yourself and in your maturity and in what you've grown into and accomplished. So future influence. This card's going to be telling us what energy is coming towards you anytime between now and the next 3 months, okay? And I love this card because what we have is the Ace of Swords. And it's got a cute little girl here sucking on her sucker. Ace of Swords is having mental clarity. having an aha moment about something, finally realizing what it is that needs to be done, and cutting some things making a decision to cut some things out of your life as well. For some of you, this is going to sound really random, but I'm hearing like surgery. If this reading for you has been in regards to your physical health or mental health, some sort of decision for surgery or operation, or something to improve your health and well-being is coming through. I know that's not for everybody, but in a really good positive way, okay? But yeah, there's a clarity of mind. You're no longer muddled up in other people's perceptions of you or old perceptions of yourself that you've really outgrown. It's like there's finally this clarity, okay? So I do feel that within the next 3 months, when this energy comes in, you will be walking towards this goal or destiny finally. You will be making that decision to get on the tightrope and walk across. So that's fantastic. Like the mind feels clear. You feel at peace. You feel strong, okay? Now, we're going to get to now a card that represents you. Who are you in regards to this whole situation? If one card from the deck could sum you up and your energy up in regards to this, what would it be? And we have the 7 of Wands. And notice this little girl is being spanked by an elder or a little mini devil. So it feels like you have to be on guard, or you feel that you have to be on guard, that you have to defend yourself a lot in regards to people's opinions around you about what you're going after, what you're accomplishing. You may not actually have had to defend yourself yet, but it seems like you're prepping for that. It's almost like you are trying to get into everybody's heads before they get into yours, so that you know, like, so that they can't hurt you. You already know what they're going to say, or you'll defend this, or you can counteract that, okay? That feels like your energy. Very tough, very fiery energy, so I like that. But you know, it makes me sad that you feel like you have to defend your ideas, your beliefs, who you are, whatever it is. There's defensiveness here. You're on guard, but you're standing strong, which I think is good. And you're only going to get stronger as the months go on. So let's look at the card that represents your environment. So this could be a person outside of you that's having an effect on this situation, or just the environment in general that you are operating in. And we have another ace, another great card, an Ace of Cups. So if this is your environment in general, this is an environment that is allowing you to be creative, to explore your emotions and your emotional fulfillment, okay? I'm feeling that this is more kind of internal, okay? This is going on within the mind, and not so much like you're in an environment maybe that's full of, you know, paint and paper, you know, necessarily, but like you're in a place where you are allowing yourself to explore your thoughts, your ideas, your emotions, your creativity, things that you want to expand or grow towards, which is really good. If this represents a person outside of you, then this is someone who's giving you a fresh start, who is being emotionally vulnerable towards you, and who is offering you their hand, their helping hand. So someone that's kind of uplifting your confidence in all of this, and making you, you know, kind of puffing up your ego a bit, making you feel good about things. So that's great. Great environment. Great environment to work in, and you've got a real good fiery energy about you. So whatever it is you're combating, you're going to succeed at that. Whether that's kind of internal pressures or external pressures from others, you have the stamina to fight against it, okay? So let's look at the card to represent your inner emotion. So this represents like what you're hoping for or what you're fearing the most, what's going on internally. And we have the 10 of Swords. And notice this girl is like half girl, half cake. And now we have people cutting into that cake to eat it, to devour her. So your fear here is becoming devoured. Like if you're thinking about some sort of online something or fame, for example, there's definitely a fear that you could become devoured by the other, by everyone around you. It could become a take situation, and you won't know how to protect yourself. So that could be a fear. There could also be a fear that you're going to get stabbed in the back by people, that you're not really going to be able to trust anyone, that no one's going to be thinking about your well-being and how they can better treat you, but you're just going to be constantly thinking about them. Yeah, it feels like fame, popularity, something you're aiming towards, that internally you're really fearful that it could end up being you against the world, basically. You against everybody else, okay? But let's look at your final result and see if that fear is really, you know, something that, what's the word for it? Comment the word down below, but like something that you should be believing in, or is that is worth even thinking about? Like if it's going to be a reality. Okay. There's another word, but I can't think of it. All right, so your final result is the Three of Wands. And this is an energy, Three of Wands. This is about, well, notice how this little girl, she's up at the top of her tree, protected from everything below, protected from the fox down below. And not only that, but the flowers that she can't touch on the ground because she's so high up in this tree of hers have come towards her. They are spiraling around the tree and coming into her lap. So the Three of Wands is often the card of like the entrepreneur. This is, someone who has created something for themselves. And after they've created it and set it up, whatever it is, or manifested it, they've done their part. Now they just get to sit back and relax and everything comes to them. They don't have to make a move. It's coming to them. They are on their own territory. They have the upper hand and the business is flocking towards them. The fame is coming towards them. Whatever it is they're wanting, it's coming to them. They don't have to do anything more than what they've done. So that's the energy you're walking towards. So you are manifesting something. I do feel that right now you're in a stage of feeling uncertain about what you're manifesting, feeling like maybe it's not going to work out, maybe it's too big of a thing to try and manifest. If that's the case, just know with that final result, no, it's working. Whatever you're doing is working. Just relinquish those doubts, which you will. I see that coming in. Relinquish those doubts, relinquish your perceptions about what success actually equals, and focus on your emotional and creative fulfillment in all of this. So I'm trying to think of, I want to pull a card for you guys, just a final Oracle deck card to help sum up the message and give you some further encouragement. So let me grab a deck from over here. Okay, I'm going to pull a deck from you from my Success Oracles. All right. Because I feel that that's really what you guys are walking towards, your success and those big dreams and hopes that you have. This would be a great time for you guys, for you specifically. I'm getting strong manifestation energy from this pile. Look up some good spells, some spell work that you could do, or some manifestation journaling that you could do to help kind of propel this even quicker into the future. Okay, Spirit, could you please pull a Success Oracle for our lovely client? I kind of want to take that, but I want it to come out all the way. I want a true jumper. Okay, there we go. Wow. Okay. You have Michael Jordan. And look, he's got the world at his fingertips. Worldwide fame. I'm also, for some reason, the number 23 is really sticking out to me, which hasn't happened with this card before. So 23 could be a significant number for you, or 2 plus 3 equals 5. So 5 could, or 32. Okay. It says here, reach for that highest vertical jump. The highest vertical jump, the stars. You guys are meant to aim for the stars, aim big. It says trademark your trademarks and make it an old habit to try something new. Make it an old habit to try something new, which I do see is your goal. Now, right now you have one particular thing in mind, but after you finally get that clarity within the next 3 months and make the decision to walk towards this big thing, new big things are going to come up. And the rest of your life, you need to keep forcing yourself to get out of the box, try the new thing, take the risk, go for it, okay? And release these kind of very conservative, traditional, restrictive ideas from the past. You may be going through your Saturn return sometime soon. If you're between the ages of 27, 28, then that's, or slightly before that, then you're about to come into your Saturn return, which will be relinquishing a lot of restrictions that you've placed on yourself, or that the world has placed upon you, or that family and friends have placed upon you. And you're going to feel an immense amount of freedom at the end of that. Pure, pure freedom with this Aquarius energy here. So best of luck to you. Something big is meant. I'm getting a lot of like fame, popularity, just adoration from the world, or from others, or from your circle that's going to be coming to you guys soon. So thank you so, so much for coming to this reading, for coming into my home. I enjoy this sort of one-on-one interaction. With COVID, not a lot of people can do this type of thing anymore. Everything's on a bigger scale, but I liked getting more personal with you today. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I love you so, so much. Bye. Hello. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello and welcome to my home and to your reading. Go ahead and have a seat, make yourself comfy. I've got fresh coffee over here if you would like any. I'm sipping on some right now. I'm really excited to get into this reading with you, and I love the deck you chose. This is probably, yeah, this is definitely my most used tarot deck. So it's got a lot of my energy soaked into it, and it's great for jumper cards as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards, and as they jump out of the deck, as Spirit pulls them out of the deck, I'll place them on, their appropriate spot. And while I'm doing that, you just kind of sit back and focus on the question that you're wanting answered, or if you're not wanting a particular question answered and you just want to see what Spirit would like to bring up for you, then just kind of focus on your energy and soak in your energy as I'm going, okay? All right, great energy coming off of these cards, and I can't wait to show you guys your final results. Very interesting reading, lots of details and imagery coming through. Sorry, I'm not explaining what I'm doing. I want to start with kind of shuffling the astrological die and rolling those out, and then I'll touch on the back of the deck energy, and then we'll get into the cards, okay? All right, so we have the 10th house, Neptune, and Libra. So Neptune is ruled by Pisces. It's about fantasy and illusion and like getting lost in something. And Libra is about balance. It's about our one-on-one relationships, our significant long-term relationships, even marriage. And the 10th house is about our legacy, our career, where we get noticed, what we accomplish out in the world. So all of those themes are going to come into play in this reading. And so the back of the deck energy, this is the card that just so happens to be at the back of the deck after all of the shuffling and card choosing has been done. So for you, that was the Two of Wands. And notice this man has the world in his hands. He's not moving. He's at a standstill, and he's looking off into the horizon, looking off into the distance. And there are two wands here, and this often represents two ideas, two people, like you and another, which would go with the Libra energy. And this is a phase of planning for the long term, planning for the future, really thinking about what it is you ultimately want at the end of your life in 5-10 years, which makes sense with the die that come up. So that's kind of the energy of this whole reading. And so let's get into the cards. So first, I'm going to talk to you about the present position. This is the main idea, event, the thing that Spirit wants to talk to you about. All the other cards on this spread are going to add to and expand on what's going on with that situation, what the outcome's going to be, all of that. So we have the moon. This is Pisces energy. So this could be in regards to a Pisces, or you could be a Pisces. And then we have Ace of Cups crossing that, okay? So the moon is about a journey that's a bit scary. It's a bit dark, right? It's at nighttime. You're only guided by the moonlight, which represents our emotions and our intuition, our maternal instincts, our influence, the influence that our mother had on us, and being careful not to fall into fantasy or illusion type of thinking. And crossing that is the Ace of Cups, which represents emotional fulfillment, a brand new relationship, or a relationship restart or refresh. So right now, you're kind of in this darker period of discovery, psychological and emotional discovery, that could have been spawned on you due to a difficult breakup, something that hurt, or the breakdown of a relationship, or the breakdown of a dream. And you're really wanting like an emotional reset. You're really wanting to refresh and restart things emotionally. I do feel like it has to do with your love life, but it doesn't have to, okay? Let's get into the other cards and kind of expand on this. So your goal in all of this, what you're ultimately wanting, is Ace of Wands, which is about kind of reigniting something or igniting the passion in something. So I feel that you're actually not looking to abandon whatever it is you have lost or whatever it is that you're hurt by. You're looking to restart it, to refresh it. So if it's with a person, a breakup, then it's not about finding a new relationship. It's about how can I recover from this and maybe reignite the passion in this once again. I want to try this again. That's kind of what I'm feeling with that. You're not wanting to leave it behind or abandon it. You're wanting to polish it up and make it new again. Okay. So an event in the distant past that's having an effect on this current situation. And by distant past, I mean anywhere from at least a year ago going all the way back to potentially even childhood. This could be a cycle that Spirit wants to talk with you about. But the card we have here is Four of Cups. And so this is a man, you know, sitting in a tree, and you can tell he looks kind of bored, kind of solemn. He's got these cups in front of him, but he doesn't seem to really want them. And then Spirit just kind of out of nowhere kind of brings him this cup that he wasn't even looking for. So it could be that this is in regards to a relationship that you weren't even looking for initially. It almost seemed like divine intervention that it was brought to you. You were perfectly fine before this relationship. But now that Spirit's brought it to you and you've lost it, it's like you're all of a sudden, I don't know, it feels like there's frustration. Like, why did I even have this brought to me? Like, I was fine before this was brought to me. So why was it even brought to me if it was just going to be taken away or destroyed or crumbled? So I do feel some frustration coming from that distant past energy. And that frustration is somehow playing a part in the current situation and how you're processing and dealing with things. Because I think you're questioning whether or not you're supposed to be wanting this thing. Yeah, whether or not you're supposed to be wanting to repair this. There's part of you that really wants to repair it, to go after it and repair it. And then there's another part of you that's really angry and resentful and irritated that you're even dealing with this situation in the first place. So that's all kind of playing a part in this. Now, the recent past, two cards came out. Recent past is anything that's happened within the last year, so more recently. And we have Five of Cups as well as Five of Wands. So Five of Wands is about frustration, arguments, disagreements, not seeing eye to eye. And Five of Cups is about grieving the loss of something. And what's interesting is the Five of Cups comes right after the Four of Cups. So it's like this thing, this person, this relationship, this idea, it was brought to you without you even, saying that you wanted it or trying to get it, but it was brought to you, and then you fell in love with it, and then now you've lost it through some sort of, some sort of argument or not seeing eye to eye. Okay, so that's the energy. Okay, that's the worst of this spread. Okay, I just touched on all the really heavy cards here. Okay, things are going to start looking up from here. So hold tight because I want you to get to the outcome card. So future influence. This is an energy that's coming towards you anytime between now and the next 3 months. So fairly quickly. And it's a great energy. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands. This is fire energy. You could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and perhaps you're finally, after a difficult kind of depressing dark phase, you're coming back into your own. You're getting that fiery, passionate energy back within you, that creative, confident energy. Queen of Wands is pure confidence. And it's great that this energy is coming to you because, remember, your goal was this Ace of Wands. And all I'm seeing here is that staff. The Queen of Wands has her staff in her hands. That's what you were aiming towards, and you're going to be getting it within the next 3 months. So this is in regards to like you and yourself, not this relationship or thing that has kind of brought you down. You are going to be getting your confidence back. And before you can repair anything with another person, you have to repair yourself. And I see that that's going to be happening for you very quickly. If you've had a blockage in your energy, your creative spark, your self-worth, any of that, you're getting it back. New friendships could come out of this, a more expansive social life. All of that's coming to you within the next 3 months. So let's look at the cards on this row here, the final row. 2 cards came out for you in this spot, but this is cards that represent who you are, what energy you're taking on in regards to this whole situation, okay? So 2 cards came out for you, Queen of Cups and Page of Cups. So this is water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And it makes sense because with the Moon and the Ace of Cups being the present situation, like you are really taking on this watery, deep, emotional, reflective, intuitive sort of energy here. But it's interesting because you're going back and forth between being, I don't want to say immature, It's like you're going back and forth between feeling very intuitive, very spot on, to feeling very kind of like surprised and caught off guard and lost in your emotions. You're going back and forth between the two. You know, the Queen is sort of this emotionally mature, wise, psychic sort of energy, you know, kind of like the psychologist, the tarot reader here. And then the Page is a very young, immature energy. And you'll notice the Page here has a fish in his cup and he didn't even notice. You know, he's caught off guard. Like, what the heck was that doing in there? So it's like you feel real emotionally wise, and then all of a sudden you'll feel real emotionally caught off guard and surprised. So you're kind of back and forth between these two. But what I'm hearing is Spirit doesn't want you to worry so much about that. You're doing the right thing. You're kind of purging. You're going through a big purging phase, okay? And that purging is going to allow your Queen of Wands energy to come back. Now, if you don't feel that this is your energy, then this could represent an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius female that's either in your life right now, that's going to reconnect with you or be around you more and help inspire you, or it could be a relationship with, you know, a new Aries, Leo, Sag that's coming into your life. But either way, it's going to bring you a lot of cheerfulness, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy. Okay, so 2 cards also came out to represent your environment, the environment you're operating in regards to this situation. So this could be the environment. It could be a person in your environment. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so 2 cards came out. 2 of Swords and the World card. This is Saturn energy. Big achievement. Hard work, but achievement. And with 2 of Swords, this is about contemplating a decision and using one's intuition in order to do so. So it feels like your environment right now is filled with this energy of contemplation, decision making, trying to find the correct route towards the achievement that you're seeking. Because remember, our back of the deck energy was the 2 of Wands, which is about planning as well. So I feel that in your environment, you are kind of downsizing things, cutting some things out of your life, and really focused on what's going to make you the most efficient, most effective person, get you towards your goal. So a really, really good cleansing sort of energy. You know, cutting things away, detaching from things, and focused on your growth. So that's fantastic as well. So 2 cards, actually on this whole row, 2 cards came out for every section, which is rare. But so the next spot we're going to talk about is your inner emotions, what you're hoping for most internally in regards to this. And more gray cards. We have the 4 of Pentacles as well as the Lover's card. This is Gemini energy, okay? This is Capricorn energy. But so it feels like, kind of like what I was saying at the beginning, there's been a breakdown in some sort of relationship or thing or idea, and it hurt you and it is hurting you, but you don't want to discard it. You want to hold tight to that. Whatever that relationship or thing is, you want to cling on to it. You want to cleanse it and make it new again, but keep it in your life, okay? That's what you're hoping for. And so now we can get to the final result. So this is what you are headed towards if you keep things the same, if you stay on this track. And the final result always reflects something coming to you within the next 6 months to a year, okay? What you're going to be getting. And 2 really great cards came out. We have the 6 of Cups, as well as the 10 of Cups. So 6 of Cups is about reconnecting with someone from the past, someone from the past coming back to you. So if this was a breakup or, you know, a relationship breakdown, you're coming back into one with this particular person. And with the 10 of Cups, this is like the ultimate forever, happily ever after sort of ending. You know, we have the husband and the wife, the cute little cottage, the children at play, and just an abundance of cups. So you're really, even though you're in this kind of dark phase right now with your emotions, you're headed towards a very uplifting phase in regards to your emotional and creative fulfillment. If this isn't a romantic relationship, then this is a reconnection of your childhood, your inner child, your family relationships. Like perhaps you've been going through like psychology and therapy due to some things that have occurred in your past and kind of revisiting those. If that's the case, it's only going to strengthen your relationships in the future. It's going to repair relationships with family members, with friends, things like that, okay? So I do want to pull an oracle card for you. Let me look at my decks and see which one I'm going to pull from. Okay, I'm going to pull from 2 of my love decks because I do feel that relationships are kind of at the forefront of this. But here's the thing, with the 10th house coming up on the die, the astrological die, this could be about this relationship thing, this emotional thing could ultimately repair or strengthen the relationship with your father, as well as propel you towards the career that you're meant to be in ultimately. So somehow it's like a connecting factor or a puzzle piece in that. But emotions were the main thing that came out in all of this, so that's why I gravitated towards the love oracles. So let's pull one card from each of these and see how Spirit wants to expand on the message for you. Okay, so let me show you what cards came out. So from the Love Oracles deck, we have Britney Spears and Jonathan Van Ness. No idea who he is, but let's take a look at these. So it says on the Britney Spears card, when gambling with love, hedge your bets. Take the risk of getting hurt because being in love can be toxic, but the high is amazing. And trust your family to take care of you when you can't. So I know that you guys are, or that you're experiencing some pain and some darkness emotionally, but I do see that you're working through it. And Spirit just wants you to know that once you come out of this, you're kind of going through a metamorphosis, a transformation emotionally and psychologically. When you come out the other side, when you become that butterfly that you're meant to be, keep your heart open, okay? Stay vulnerable with others, with those who deserve it. Don't close off your heart because some really great emotional fulfillment is coming for you. And I think it's not just going to be in regards to, like I was saying earlier, you know, your marriage and your love life. This is really about repairing your inner child and your psychology and kind of unpacking all of that. The emotions from when you were young, the emotions from your parents. You're really transforming, okay? So from Jonathan Van Ness, it says, a little beard pomade will take you to the next level. This sofa has lived its best life, but now it's gotta go. And there is no such thing as too much of your beautiful face, Henny. So that sofa thing kind of strikes me because I don't know, what I saw when I said that was like the sofa kind of representing your subconscious. Yeah, the subconscious you've been sleeping on for all of these years, and finally getting rid of that and bringing in something brand new, like a cleansing and a purging of the subconscious. Now, from the Romance Angels deck, we have children and calling in your soulmate. And it says, your love life is being affected by children. Now, for those of you who don't have children, this is about your inner child, the subconscious. It's affecting your relationships, not just romantically, but friendships, family members, co-workers, bosses, all of that. And that's kind of what you are healing right now. And then, of course, if you have a child or children or your significant other does, then that is also having an effect. But either way, it ties back to your own inner child. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. And I don't want it to just be about your love life, even if it is, because really, Spirit's wanting to convey to you that this isn't just about love life. This journey that you're going on right now, that Spirit's pulling you towards a transformation, is going to change who you are, what your relationships are, what they mean to you, and career, your legacy. So this is a big deal. This is a lot of spiritual growth that I'm feeling from you here. And yeah, you can do it. You can get through it. Keep digging into those emotions and, you know, your psychology and all of that, and be open to what Spirit is trying to bring to you at the other side of all of this, whether that be this person or these people from your past. They're bringing you something, and it's going to bring you it's going to make your dreams come true. Okay. So just be open to that. Remain vulnerable and open and loving. Okay. All right. I love you so much. And I'm so thankful that you came here and allowed me to do this reading. And I look forward to seeing you next time as well. So come back again and again and again. Okay. Love you. Bye. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello, and welcome to your reading. Go ahead and grab a seat, make yourself comfortable. I have fresh coffee if you would like to grab yourself a cup, and let's get into this. So, I love the tarot deck that you've chosen. This is a tarot deck I actually purchased for my husband, hoping that maybe he would get into, kind of reading tarot for himself, which he didn't. It's more my thing, but it's a beautiful black and white, very modern imagery. So I'm excited to see what cards Spirit decides to pull for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards, and as Spirit yanks them out of the deck, I call them jumpers, I'll place them on their positions, and you just sit back and relax and either focus on the question that you're wanting to ask, or if you're wanting to just see what Spirit brings up for you, then just focus on your energy and kind of tapping into your energy, okay? All right, so I've got them all laid out. I do want to take a look. I'm going to roll the astrological die because that'll help tap into the overall energy of the reading, as well as take a peek at the back of the deck energy, which is the card that's at the bottom of the deck, or just so happens to be at the bottom of the deck after all of the cards for the spread have been laid out. So let's do that first. All right, we have 10th house, Mercury, and Taurus. So 10th house is like our career, our legacy. It's our midheaven point. It's kind of what we're aiming to achieve overall in this lifetime. And Mercury is about our learning, our perspective, our communication abilities, our short distance trips and travel. And then Taurus is about kind of accruing money, stability, activating our sensuality, our connection to the earth and its cycles, as well as our growth, kind of growing, moving slowly towards things, like creating stability in our lives ultimately. So all of those themes are going to be touched upon in this reading. And let's look at the back of the deck energy. Okay, so back of the deck energy is 5 of Pentacles. And this is what it looks like in this deck. So there's this monkey who feels kind of trapped, and it says torment at the bottom of the card. And this card is represented also by Mercury in Taurus. That is freaking crazy. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, tarot is actually created from astrology. So every card in the tarot has an astrological association. So for example, 5 of Pentacles is Mercury in the sign of Taurus, which we literally pulled the Mercury in the Taurus die. And you'll notice on this deck, they actually have the symbols here. So that's the symbol for Mercury, and then the symbol for Taurus is here. So it feels like you guys have, let me put that back at the bottom of the deck. You guys have a lack sort of perspective in regards to yourself and your life. I don't feel that you give yourself enough credit. It feels like you have a lot of judgment towards yourself, okay? You're pretty harsh on yourselves. And the things that you do create and the things that you do, it's almost like you put this perspective of, well, it's not good enough. It's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. And this seeps into, I think, every aspect of your life, not just in how much money is in your bank account or what's going on in your career, but in your relationships as well. I think there seems to be a blockage in your ability to receive love and compliments and affection from others because of this low belief and perspective that you have of yourself and your relationships. You have a hard time receiving or taking what they say as truth, like believing in that. But okay, let me just get into the cards, okay, before I go into a whole, start channeling something just from those first few bits we have. All right, so present position. These 2 cards are going to bring up the situation that Spirit ultimately wants to talk to you about. Every other card in this spread is going to tie back to this present situation, what's going on, and how it's ultimately going to work out. So we have Son of Fire, which is Page of Wands in a traditional tarot. This is fire energy. So this situation could involve like an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. That could be you. The Suns or the Pages are kind of a younger energy. They're a more curious energy that still has a lot to learn. And crossing that, we have the Judgment card, which in this deck is, I I perceive it a bit differently than I do the typical judgment card in the tarot, because you can literally see this man is clearly, he's looking at himself in the mirror and he's being very harsh towards himself. And so that's kind of the thing that Spirit wants to talk to you about. So if you had a specific question, and you feel like, well, this isn't really talking about my specific question, like what does this have to do with anything? Spirit's wanting to let you know that this cycle, this perspective you have of yourself, this harsh judgment you have on your life or your accomplishments is affecting whatever question it is that you're asking about or curious about. And they want to touch upon that and touch upon how you're going to overcome this and how you're going to find your bliss and your happiness in regards to this, whatever you asked, okay? Because we do have some really great cards that you are headed towards for the outcome, all right? So, okay, so your goal. So the goal is like, that's going to be these two cards here, and this is what you're aiming towards, what you ultimately want to achieve. And we actually had an interesting card come out for the goal, so I wanted to clarify it. So the first card that came out was the devil, and you see all this awful imagery, just all negative, bad things. And so I clarified that and got the universe. Now in this deck, it's called the universe. In the traditional tarot, it's called the world. It's the final card in the major arcana. Already, we have 3 major arcana cards: judgment, devil, and universe. And when a lot of major arcana cards come up in a reading, you're in a cycle of like some major spiritual growth for your soul. But so what I'm seeing with the devil card here and the universe is that you ultimately want to eliminate the negative in your life. That's what you aim for, is how to be better, how to get rid of the negative. But it's interesting because your perspective of achievement is, let me find all the things wrong with everything and focus on plucking that out and removing it. Instead of, like a lot of people, take a different sort of approach. They focus on what amazing things do I want to create? What amazing things do I want to do? What sort of positive, beautiful things do I want to bring in? So they focus on kind of like expanding through that, through focusing on the positive, where you focus more on, you have a very Virgo-like approach. You focus on, let me analyze and find every little thing that's wrong, all the things that I need to critique, and cleanse that or purge that or get rid of that, all right? So I think that plays into the fact that you are very focused on kind of cleansing the negative, figuring out what's wrong, you know. It does affect your perspective on everything. It's almost like instead of rose-colored glasses, like the phrase says, you guys have like dingy-colored glasses. Like you're the type of person that prefers to, I think you take a lot of pride in seeing things as they are, you know, being a realist. And so anyways, that's playing a role in all of this. So let's look at the distant past. 2 cards came out again for the distant past, both of them major arcana. You remind me of a reading. I did a pick a card reading last Friday, and there was a pile in that pick a card reading that strongly reminds me of this spread. So go look at my most recent pick a card, because there's a pile in there you're going to be drawn towards that had a lot of major arcana cards come out as well. Okay, so distant past. Distant past section is an event or a cycle that's from at least a year ago. It could go all the way back to childhood. And somehow this event or cycle or thing or person from the distant past is having an effect on your current situation that Spirit wants to talk about. So let's look at that. So the first card that came out was the Sun. And this is the happiest card in the tarot deck, the happiest. I don't know if you can see the sun. Yeah, the sun, there's sunflowers. And then I clarified that, and this is like Leo or fire energy. I clarified that, and we have the Temperance card, which is Sagittarius energy, which is about healing, angelic sort of cleansing and kind of like upgrading yourself through a healing of both the negative and positive aspects of something. It can often represent like medication, like prescribed medication or like a vitamin regimen or some sort of upgrade in terms of health. But whatever this was, it could be a person. Temperance card could just represent a Sagittarius person in your life. I mean, whatever it was, it brought you a lot of happiness and healing with the Sun. It could have been a child that was brought into your life, and that child is having an effect on the present situation. This could be a sibling. So maybe this whole thing is somehow in regards to a relationship you have with a sibling that was brought into your life years and years ago. Like, it does feel like some sort of addition to your life. I'll word it that way. There was some sort of addition to your life, something added to your life that, at least at the time, brought you a lot of joy and happiness, almost like this thing or this person was the yin to your yang. Like, if you're the realist that's focused on kind of critiquing and analyzing and correcting, this other thing was the opposite of that, where it was focused on what's good and what's amazing and the idealist, and there's almost like a fool-like energy coming off of it, but a lot of joy as well. Okay, so the recent past. 2 cards here for the recent past. Recent past is going to be a person or a thing or an event that happened within the last year, okay, that's having an effect on this current situation. And we had the Father of Air, so this is King of Swords, so it could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, male or person. And then we have the Four of Swords. And you see all of these, I think they're seagulls or birds that are just kind of resting. Okay, so in the recent past, I feel like there was a conversation with someone or an altercation with someone. Yeah, a conversation, an argument, or something that you read, like it could have been a book that you got that really opened your mind to a lot. Something that shift your perspective in the recent past, okay? And like I said, it could have been a book, it could be a YouTube channel you've been following that talks a lot about psychology, or I don't know, something that opened your mind, or it could have been a conversation with an air sign or a significant person in your life that kind of shifted your perspective, or it could have been an argument. Something really shifted things for you in your mind. Something shifted your perspective recently. Okay, so future influence. Now, this is energy that's coming towards you within the next 3 months. It could be anytime starting now to like 3 months from now. And it's a really, really great card. It is the Two of Cups, and you'll notice it says love, and there's the 2 little seahorses. This card is Venus in Cancer, but beautiful. So there's a coming together in your near future. And this could either be a coming together with a part of yourself. So perhaps this distant past energy with the Sun and the Temperance, perhaps this is the other half of you. Perhaps a long, long time ago, or perhaps when you first incarnated into this lifetime, you were just this bubbly, bright, optimistic, lighthearted, lucky sort of energy in person, okay? And then over time, probably through adapting to the harshness and the reality of the world, you kind of hardened and you got in touch more with this other aspect of the self, which is kind of critical and harsh and disciplined and really picks up on what's wrong. And so it's almost like the first half of your life you lived in this sort of 100% bubbly, happily, optimistic place. And then this other half of your life has been solely in this hypercritical, corrective, judgmental sort of energy, okay? And it looks like within the next 3 months, you're going to be bringing those 2 aspects of yourself together in harmony to where you're not all one or all the other, but you actually appreciate both sides of yourself and you create a relationship between those both sides. Shadow work is coming up strongly here. So you may have started some form of shadow work recently. If not, I would highly encourage that. Just Google it, YouTube it, you'll find lots of great tutorials and explanations. Now, this coming together of the both sides of yourself, the yin to your yang, it could potentially be bringing in a new relationship as well. So it's almost like through this self-healing and this inner healing, now your energy is receptive to a significant romantic relationship coming in, okay? And it could be with a Cancer person. It doesn't have to be. In fact, before I get to these other cards, let me try and get some clarity on that for you. Okay, Spirit, this Two of Cups energy, could you please clarify? Okay, we had 2 9s come out. All right, so the first card is 9 of Swords, and the second is 9 of Wands. Okay, so this, okay, so I do feel strongly that the main thing happening with this Two of Cups energy is the coming together of both parts of yourself, okay? The part of you that is optimistic and brings in, manifests a lot for themselves through that optimism and that luckiness and that lightheartedness, and then the part of you that is quite, you know, critical and judgmental and, okay, overthinks things perhaps. So I feel like there's a healing there. But if that does somehow bring in a new relationship, friendship, romantic, this will be with someone who I do think is I'm feeling Sagittarius energy with both of the nines that came out on those cards, as well as someone who is quite intelligent and perhaps into technology in some way, like in the tech industry for work, or literally their job is somehow online. And yeah, they feel very Sagittarius, but very airy at the same time, and intelligent, and they feel a bit more like emotionally detached. That would be a great way to describe them. They're not someone who is they don't get caught up in their emotions. And I feel like you wouldn't have been ready for that type of energy had you not gone through this healing that you're working on now. So that's going to allow that person to come in. But the main focus, I don't want to distract you too much, because the main focus needs to be right now on the shadow work and bringing both sides of yourself back together. Okay, so next, we're going to look at a card that represents you in regards to this situation, who you are in this situation, what you represent. And I couldn't have picked a more perfect card. We have, this is Four of Wands, and it says here, perfection. And this is a girl who's like mastered this fire wand, like craft thing, artistic thing. Perfection. That is you. You aim for perfection. I would not be surprised if you are a Virgo South Node, or have Virgo somewhere strongly in your chart, because I am getting strong Virgo energy. It could be that Virgo's rules your midheaven or your 10th house, your ascendant, South Node, or North Node. But yeah, Virgo energy. You aspire for perfection. Now, this is a great energy for any sort of activism or political work. I'm not sure if you're interested in that type of thing, but you do have this very keen eye about you, which I think is fantastic. But you're going to be learning how to utilize that keen eye with a joyful heart. Okay, bringing in like the old, wise, sage part of you with the young, innocent, inner child part of you. Okay, so a card to represent your environment. What sort of environment are you operating in regards to this situation? We have the Father of Fire, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. This could represent an Aries, Leo, Sag that has something to do with this situation. It would be like a male and a pretty mature male. Or this could just represent the energy of the environment. And then along with that, we have This is Eight of Pentacles, and it says circumspection. And then we have the elephants, which always give me a very wise sort of energy as well. And this card is Sun in Virgo, astrologically. Let's see if I can show you. There's a symbol for the sun, and there's the symbol for Virgo. So Sun in Virgo is a very meticulous sort of energy, but Father of Fire is a very passionate, creative sort of energy. So you're working towards, I do feel that you have perhaps either started a business or are working on some sort of business idea or some sort of important creative project, and you are really like fine-tuning all of the details. I'm seeing like books or writing, something very meticulous. I keep wanting to say meticulous. Books, writing, creating with or utilizing the hands, a lot of online or like with computers or technology, brainstorming. Oh, I could just keep going. There's like a whole flow of words and imagery coming in my head, but very meticulous. And I like that the Father of Fire is there, because that is showing me that you're not just focused on the meticulousness of it, but you are getting a lot of joy and excitement from this as well. And if that's not you, like if Father of Fire is a person in your environment and not you, then that particular fiery person, the Aries, Leo, Sag, is helping add the passion to the mix of this hard work. So if I were you, I would be very appreciative of that energy, because they're igniting a lot within you, okay? So your inner emotions. These two cards are showing us what you are ultimately hoping for or what you're fearing in regards to this situation. And so I see that what you are hoping for is Daughter of Water, and what you are fearing is Five of Swords, which says defeat. Okay. So with Daughter of Water, this is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. A daughter that's the page. And And that's a young, innocent energy. So it's like you're wanting to get back to the most innocent part of yourself. I feel that you, perhaps this new project or new idea or whatever has sparked you to kind of tap into this sun energy from your distant past, it's somehow related to your past. This may be some sort of hobby that you had years and years ago, or some sort of dream that you had years and years ago that you'd long abandoned or forgotten about. There's something in you that over the past few months, you've wanted to feel like what it felt like to be a child again. I think you're really tired of looking at the world through these dingy colored glasses. You're ready for a bit of the rose colored glasses. So that's what you're hoping for. But your fear in all of this is that you'll become a failure. If you go too far into this energy, you'll become a failure. You'll be defeated. You'll be weak. You'll be silly, and these are all things that you don't ever want to be described as. And you certainly don't want life to have an advantage over you. You're the type of person who wants to have the upper hand on life. That's why you have such a great eye for picking up on, well, that's wrong. Well, this needs to be fixed, which I really, really like. But so this is just what's going on internally. Let's see if any of that has any weight to it, those emotions, because now we're getting to the final result. So 2 cards for the final results. And we have 6 of Cups, which says happiness. And we have Ace of Air, or Ace of Swords. Now, Ace of Air, this is about intelligence, communication, singing, writing. All of this is ace energy. And I feel like your final result is, especially because we have Mercury here and the 10th house. And final result, I forgot to mention, that will be coming to you within the next 6 months to a year, that final result. This is what you're headed towards. It's mental energy. It's online, social media. Yeah, writing, singing, communicating, discovering, investigating. Somehow you are going to be tapping into this energy, I believe, to use it for career. But the great thing is you're also tapping into the 6 of Cups energy of happiness. And 6 of Cups represents our inner child and our happy place from the past. So this is something that you used to want to be, or you used to want to do a long time ago when you were all sun energy. Some sort of hobby or talent, something. If it's not that, then it's at least connected to your past life energy, your South Node energy. So this could have been some sort of talent, or hobby that you had from a previous lifetime that's now carried over here. You're good at this. Whatever this is, you are good at this. So do not doubt that. Don't let your inner critic overtake you. But I already feel like you're moving in the right direction. You're tapping into this uplifted, happy-go-lucky sort of energy. And that way you can use both to execute what it is you're wanting to execute. I want to pull an oracle card or 2 for you from one of my oracle decks. Let me take a peek over here and get a good oracle deck to help sum up this energy and give you further direction on going forward. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to pull a card from you from my archetype deck and then from my Starseeds deck. So, okay, fantastic cards that came out. So from the archetype deck, 2 cards came out. The hero or heroine and the Samaritan. Now, the first thing that I noticed, which I don't usually look at in this deck, is the orange. And it's making me think of the orange chakra, our sacral chakra. Look that up. If you don't know much about the sacral chakra, look that up, because I feel like that is going to be your aura, or really the energy you're going into. And the sacral chakra, our orange chakra, is about our creativity, what we create. Even pregnancy is ruled by the sacral chakra, because that's when we are literally creating life. That is the energy that you are tapping into. And with the hero and the Samaritan, it's making me think once again of political sort of energy. So no matter what you're creating, what you're doing, there's going to be a political element to it in that. Not necessarily that you're involved in government, it could be, but that what you're doing is going to be uplifting humanity, uplifting your clients, empowering your clients in some way, and helping the world progress somehow through what you are doing. And you're made for this. You are made for this, baby. Like, this is really exciting me looking at this. And then from the Starseed deck, here's what the back of it looks like. And look at what it says. Fruition. It says, rest assured, your dreams and visions will come to fruition. That's really exciting. I'm super excited for you. I'm humbled by your energy. This is the type of energy that makes me feel like I need to kind of bow down and say thank you so much for all you do, because your energy, it corrects, it progresses, it inspires, it propels. Just by you living and breathing and existing, your energy does that. So just imagine how much more it's going to do when you start taking action on that energy and creating something. And all I want you to know, the biggest thing I want to say from you, aside from Spirit and the message Spirit has brought, is I want you to believe in yourself and just be a little bit less judgmental on yourself, because you are a good person. You're a really, really good person. And you're talented, okay? And you're going to leave a mark on the world. You are the type of person that when you are long gone, or in your funeral when you pass, I mean, it's going to truly amaze you the types of things people come up to say about you, okay? That's the impact that you're meant to have. So tap into your unconditional love. Your unconditional love just a little bit more, and give that to yourself a bit more, and it's going to flow out from you towards other people. And just thank you for all that you're meant to do here. Okay, I love you so much. Thank you so much again for coming into my home and doing this little personal reading with me, allowing me to provide this service for you. I really, really enjoyed it. I love your energy, and I look forward to connecting with you sometime soon in the future, maybe for my next pick a card. All right, love you. Bye. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello, welcome to your reading. Go ahead and take a seat, make yourself comfortable. I have fresh coffee right that away if you would like some. That's what I will be sipping on. I love the deck that you chose. This was the very first tarot deck that I bought for myself. And I picked it because I liked that the images have a lot of detail to them, and I just thought it was a great starter deck. It's little, it fits in my hand, so it wasn't too intimidating. But anyway, so fantastic tarot deck. I can't wait to see what Spirit wants to bring up for you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start shuffling, and Spirit will pull jumper cards like this one. I will lay out all of the cards, and then after laying out all of the cards, we will get into the reading and see what Spirit wants to say. While I am shuffling, if you would just focus on the question that you would like answered, or if you don't have a question that you, in particular, that you want answers for, just focus on your own energy, okay? Before we get into the cards, I want to take a roll of the astrological die. That'll give us an overall feel for the energy of the reading. And then we'll take a look at the back of the deck energy. Back of the deck energy is the card that is at the very bottom of the tarot deck after I have finished taking all of the jumpers for the, selected area. So, right. Okay, we have ninth house, Pisces, and the moon. So ninth house is all about spirituality. It's also about like college, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, religion, like the truths of life and gaining wisdom, becoming a professor of life in a sense. And Pisces is highly spiritual too. It's more of it's dissolution of the ego, where you're kind of merging with everything and everyone. It's a very creative and feminine sort of energy. And with the moon there as well, the moon is all about our emotions. It's a very creative, feminine energy as well. So I'm getting a strong feminine energy from this pile, and a dark, deep energy, kind of like psychological, spiritual, subconscious, even like nightmarish, and just like really deep, watery. Like I'm feeling a lot of water. Let's take a look at the back of the deck. Okay, yeah, so back of the deck card is Queen of Cups, So water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, like have that prominently in your chart, but you don't have to be. But this spirit definitely wants to talk to you about your emotions and something going on with your emotions. So let's get into the cards. So the first two cards I'm going to bring up cover the present position. And the present position is basically the situation that Spirit wants to talk to you about. Every other card in the spread will be adding to the present position, explaining the hows, the whys, the whens, and basically what outcome you're headed towards if you stay on this track. So let's see what we have here. So we have Nine of Swords, as well as the Devil, and the Devil energy is crossing the Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords, this is about being quite anxious about something. Something's keeping you up at night. You could even be grieving something, but it's about a lot of like mental anxiety and anguish over something in particular. Now, with the Devil crossing this, this could be related to work, because the Devil is Capricorn energy, and Capricorn is about conquering life and achievement and accomplishment. So something toxic going on in the work environment. It could represent an actual Capricorn that you are kind of driving yourself nuts over, or having some anxiety over a significant Capricorn person in your life. Or it could represent a toxic romantic relationship, some sort of romantic relationship that is upsetting you, or that you feel chained to, or something like that, because you'll notice there's both a man and a woman here that are chained. Now, if it's not any of those things, it could represent addiction, addiction to heavy substances, or even like simple things like being online too much, or not, shopping too much, overspending on your money, or really anything that you are kind of frustrated with yourself about, because you're like, I'm doing that too much and I don't know how to stop. Okay, so it could be any of those things. Now, your goal, this is what you're aiming for in regards to this situation. And we have the King of Pentacles. So this is earth energy. So again, it could be a Capricorn male or a Taurus or a Virgo male. That may be what you're aiming towards. But with it being the King of Pentacles, it's like you want stability, from this person. You want stability and longevity and groundedness from this person. But if it's not someone outside of you that you're aiming towards, then it could just be having your own stability, being the king of your life, no longer being chained to anybody or anything, but really being like a hardworking, stable, grounded, and abundant individual and master of one's own life. That's really what you want. Now, let's take a look at what led you to this sort of Nine of Swords Devil energy situation. So first, we're going to look at a card that represents an event or a situation or a thing in the distant past. Now, distant past is anywhere from a year ago all the way back to childhood. So it could be a cycle, or a person or event. So in the distant past, we have Eight of Cups. And so the Eight of Cups, which we also have the moon here, which is cool because you had the moon come up on your die. But the Eight of Cups is showing a person that put years of time, care, and energy into these 8 cups here, but came to a realization over time that caring for these 8 cups, holding on to these 8 cups, was no longer fulfilling for them. And as hard as it is to walk away from something that you've invested a lot in, sometimes you have to do it. If it's no longer a part of your purpose and your path, you have to. So it was walked away from. So there was either, it could be a few different things. Either there was a point in your distant past where you were able to walk away from something that was toxic for you. Like you have the strength and the ability to do it. And so the fact that you were able to do it before, you're confident that you will be able to do it again. And that's how this is affecting the current situation. Or it could be that somebody in your distant past walked away from you, no longer viewed you as fulfilling. It could have been a parent that kind of left you as a child, or was disconnected from you, like just didn't seem to want to invest in you. And perhaps that individual's lack of loyalty towards you caused you to become an extremely loyal person, loyal to a fault to others. You never wanted to hurt anyone the way that this person or these people hurt you. So you may have found yourself sticking and becoming very loyal to things that maybe weren't that great to you. And somehow this event in the distant past is having an effect on where you are right now. So let's look at the recent past. Now, recent past is going to be anything within the last year. So a year ago or less. And 2 cards came out. The Ten of Swords and the Seven of Cups. And especially because we have Pisces and the moon here on the die, this to me looks like disillusionment. You fell for some sort of illusion, whether it was some salesperson pitching you on this like too good to be true idea, or it was an individual that seemed too good to be true. Somehow it's like you thought it was so beautiful and wonderful and magical, and now you found yourself kind of stabbed in the back by it. Like the reality has hit you in the face, and it hit you hard. And if it's not a person, or like it could be a job, it could even be like a dream that you were chasing after that just seems so wonderful, and now you're feeling like, this is not what I thought it was. Like, I feel so disillusioned. I thought when I got here it would feel like this, and that, but I feel awful. But so something that you feel like tricked in a sense, either by yourself or by others, like somehow tricked by this situation that you're in. So the future influence, which is here, this is going to be energy that is coming towards you within the next 3 months. So anywhere from now to 3 months from now. And the first card that came out was the Tower card. And I did want to go ahead and clarify that. So we clarified it with the King of Wands, or Rods. So within the next 3 months, a big shakeup is about to happen. Divine intervention is what this card kind of represents, because it's the lightning that struck down the tower. So the story of this card is, see the two people here that are falling out? These two people, this is the analogy I always give, okay? So just imagine this in your head. These two people, married couple, let's say, they decided to build this tower to live in. So they build this tower, and only after they get it built do they realize that we forgot to put a bathroom in here, or the living room's super small and the bedrooms are really big, or oh my gosh, like we work from home and we didn't think to build an office. Something happened that they didn't realize until after they built the tower, and what they should have done was move out of the tower. But because they spent all that time building it, they were just like, oh, well, we'll just stay, we'll just make it work, we'll just make it work. And they're miserable living there. Really, they are. And so eventually, you know, God's looking down, watching them like live in this house that they built that has no bathroom, that doesn't have an office or whatever. And he's finally like, they're not going to get out of this tower. And this is not the tower that's meant for them. I have something way better for them. So if they're not going to move out of it, I'm going to have to strike it down myself. And so that is exactly what he does. Now, after the tower moment comes the star. And that's when, because the tower has been broken down, because the tower has disappeared and is no longer clouding their vision and their purpose, they can see clearly exactly where they are supposed to go and exactly where they will find meaning in their life. So in the next few months, you will have this tower moment. Somehow it'll manifest differently for each and every one of you. But with King of Wands clarifying it, a fire sign could be at play with all of this. So an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius individual that's maybe going to come into your life, or I don't know, do something for you, or some sort of interaction, or perhaps a conversation, or a job offer, like something that's going to create change. It could even cause a move, you know, with the tower falling down. Maybe your spouse or your parents or you will get like moved to a different location for work, and you're suddenly going to have to move cities, or it's something like that, involving fire energy. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, probably male, or something involving your social life or your endeavors or your creativity, okay? But the Tower card, it's a good card. And honestly, with you getting the reading now, that Tower energy is going to feel a lot less shocking or like, whoa, than if you didn't have this reading. The Tower leads to good things. Okay, so let's look at the card that represents you in regards to this situation. So for you, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. That could be prominent energy in your chart. With the Knight of Swords, the Knights are always taking action, and this is a very fast-moving Knight. I think the fastest in the tarot is the Knight of Swords. He's very brash. He sometimes like moves without thinking. He's just ready to go and chop those heads off or do whatever it is he needs to do. I do feel like you're wanting to have some sort of conversation. You're wanting to force a conversation to happen, or force something to be revealed. Like, I think you feel like you've sat long enough in this sort of energy. The anxiety's built up too much. You're sick of being in your own head, and you're like, that's it. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make sure they give me this information that I need. And yeah, you're kind of, but I'm feeling a lot of not anger, maybe tension or frustration. That would be the word. I'm feeling a lot of frustration from that card. But of course, I don't blame you for feeling frustrated, with this kind of being the energy here. So the card that represents the environment that you're operating in, or people outside of you that in regards to this situation, is the Three of Swords. So this is an environment of heartache or heartbreak. It could be a third-party situation where this environment involves you and perhaps two other people. There's three people at play. But yeah, the heart feels tight. It feels clenched. It definitely feels, I'm feeling pain and anger. Pain and anger. Not so much, yeah, and that's the environment. So the anger could be happening outside of you. It could be in regards to the other individuals. But yeah, it's really frustrating. This is a really, I'm glad you guys came to this reading because this is a tough energy to deal with. And I think we'll get to the outcome because it's going to improve from here. Okay. So I really feel like whatever it is you're dealing with, you're at the lowest point right now. It's only going to get better, way, way better from here. So if you've been wondering how long you're going to be in this frustrated sort of energy, not for long. Once that tower moment comes in, within the next 3 months, that is going to bust open this doorway to freedom and kind of finding yourself again in all of this. So this is the card that represents your inner emotions. This is what you are hoping for or fearful of in regards to this situation. So we have the Hierophant. This is Taurus energy, okay? So it could be a Taurus person that you are hoping for or fearful about, perhaps, that's in this situation. The Hierophant also represents religious doctrine, like very strict religious doctrine, and that could be at play here. Like perhaps you are fearful of disappointing your mother, for example, because we have the moon here, or your father through your actions because they have such conservative or religious ideals. So there could be a fear that you are going to disappoint them, let them down. Or the Hierophant also represents marriage a lot of times too, because the Hierophant is the pastor that marries, the husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband. So you could be hoping for some sort of long-term, stable commitment from someone or something, or perhaps even marriage. And on the other side of it, there's some sort of fear from the parents or people in authority above you and what they will think of you, what they will think of what you've done or whatever. Yeah, it feels like you don't want to disappoint people. So let's take a look at the final result. So 2 cards came out for the final result. And this is what you are headed towards if you stay on track with where you're at if nothing changes. And we have the High Priestess, which is a card represented by the moon, which we have here on the die, as well as the Emperor. This is Aries energy. And this is Cancer or Moon energy. So for some of you, this could be your parents. Perhaps one parent is a Cancer and one is an Aries. But with the High Priestess card, this is about secrets being revealed to you. This is about taking a peek into the spiritual realms, gaining spiritual knowledge that's only revealed to you once it's approved to be revealed to you. The High Priestess is able to do that. This is also psychic ability, psychic energy. And with the 9th house coming up here in Pisces and the moon, I feel like somehow this situation that you're in, it's going to lead you to, it's almost like you're in a dark night of the soul. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Because on the other side of this energy is strengthened intuition and potential psychic ability. And you may go into some form of psychic work, tarot, astrology, mediumship, something like that. But for some reason, you had to go through this sort of dark phase to awaken that and open that up for yourself. Now, with the Emperor is Aries energy, and the Emperor takes command of his life. He is in charge of his life. He is a go-getter. He has a domain. He has a kingdom. He takes pride in it. He is proud of it. And for some reason, I'm getting like health or doctor as well. I don't know why, but I'm perceiving that Emperor card is like a self-love, strength of self, and nurturing of self and of the body. Like really taking pride in who you are, what you do for a living, all of your responsibilities. Yeah. And also like direct connection, contact, and communication from the spiritual realm to you. So I want to I want to pull some oracle cards for you just to help clarify this. The energy here feels very scattered, scattered but psychic and intuitive. So I want to pull from some decks for you to help clarify this. So let me grab some off my shelf here. Okay, I'm pulling more oracles for you than I did for the other piles, but it's because, like I said, the energy here feels quite scattered. So I just want to make sure I can pull it together for you cohesively. Okay, so let's do a surrender card, Power of Surrender deck. Then we'll do archetype, which I'm hoping will give us some insight into. I feel like with the ninth house and the moon, you are meant to do some sort of psychic work, like for a living. So I'm hoping the archetype deck can help clarify that or expand on that. But for those of you not meant to, if you don't feel like that's your path, you're definitely meant to have this sort of heightened intuition to help guide you in the right direction going forward so that you never get into another devil tower moment again, where divine intervention is required to kind of free you from it. Your intuition is going to be way, way heightened and way, way on point. Okay, so let's get some cards. All right, so some interesting cards came out. From the surrender deck, we have surrender your fear of intimacy and surrender to receiving support and love. Let me read these for you. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. And the second card, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. So whatever this devil energy is, it's almost like it's somehow a distraction from your heart, from your vulnerability, from your heart chakra, your love center. It keeps you distracted because it feels like there's some sort of hidden pain in the heart chakra that maybe seems too scary to deal with. And you do that, it's subconscious how all of this happens, okay? So maybe something from like this thing I brought up from childhood, feeling kind of walked out on perhaps. So the pain of that is too difficult to deal with. So subconsciously you've chosen either some sort of addiction or a particular toxic person or thing. And that way you stay so occupied and kind of sucked up in that because it's so urgent, you know, you're forced to kind of deal with that your wounded heart and your subconscious are able to be kind of forgotten about or pushed to the side. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So with these surrender cards, Spirit's calling you to really clean out your heart, to get rid of the distractions and see what sort of thoughts and feelings come to mind when you have nothing to distract you. So let's say you've been distracting yourself with phone time, social media, maybe taking a break from that and really discovering what it is you need to deal with within. A lot of times, you know, I definitely, you know, social media, YouTube, that's a definite addiction for me. And I know that it's because, you know, when I'm around the house, for example, cleaning or even taking a shower, I always have some sort of a YouTube video on because it keeps my mind distracted. Because, you know, sometimes when my mind's not distracted, my thoughts wander to, you know, oh, you're so worthless, or oh, you know, you're not doing enough, or oh, your life is so boring, or like these sorts of things that I really should be dealing with head on, but it's so much easier to keep my mind distracted. But so that's kind of what Spirit's wanting to ask of you. Get rid of the distractions, see what comes up, because we want to open up your heart big and wide, bright and booming, and fill your life with, you know, happiness and joy and connection, okay? So from the moon decks, I have two different moon decks. A lot of cards came out. Okay, the first one is the gibbous moon. It says you're very close to achieving your goal. Then we have the waxing crescent moon. Have faith in your dreams. And notice the butterflies, which always make me think of transformation. And then we have full moon in Scorpio. And it says it's time to release negativity. So again, that cleansing, Scorpio, or this card always makes me think of cleansing the subconscious patterns. Pisces is really more about that. But Scorpio is also about our entanglements with others, our codependency with others, other people or things. And so there's some form of like codependency on an item or an idea or a person or a substance that Spirit is helping you to cleanse out of your life and to walk towards this really strong and intuitive Emperor and High Priestess energy. Okay, from my other moon deck, we have Moon in Cancer as well as the Cat Moon Totem. And cats are very psychic. It says here, make time to focus on your own spiritual well-being and connect to the metaphysical world around you. So Spirit's really wanting you to dive deep into your spiritual beliefs, your spirituality, your religion. You know, again, remember the die, we had Moon, ninth house, Pisces. You can spend time meditating or read certain religious texts or watch YouTube videos from the spiritual community. Any way that you can kind of dive into that. That will still kind of be a distraction, but it will be a distraction that is growing you and nourishing you in some way, right? So with the Moon in Cancer, it says, spend time with family or helping others and avoid situations that can be a drain on your emotions. And I don't know why, but Cancer, High Priestess Moon, you may have either a very significant relationship with the mother that can be draining because perhaps it's too close. Perhaps mom relies on you a lot, or it could be a lack of a relationship with mother that has caused you to kind of select certain friends or people or things that subconsciously mirror that pattern for you, that mom pattern. But so with the Moon in Cancer, Spirit really wants you to focus on your emotional and psychic and spiritual nourishment and be very selective, at least for the next 6 months. Be very selective over who and what you're kind of allowing in your energetic sphere. Okay, so the last few cards are from the archetype deck, and we have the Fool, the Prostitute, and the Pioneer. Now with the Pioneer, you may have a 10th house in Aries, an Aries ruled 10th house, which would make you likely a Cancer ascendant. Okay, so the Pioneer says, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. That's what you are meant to do with your life, but with something spiritually related or in the healing sort of community or realm. But the Prostitute and the Fool are kind of the two things that are being addressed right now within you. So on the Fool, it says, fearlessly revealing emotion and helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. So you'll notice in the image, the Fool is no longer covering his tears with this sort of mask, this happy mask. He's allowing the tears to show. I think a lot of the reason why you may have ended up in this sort of Capricorn energy that you feel kind of tied to and bound to is somehow related to your fear of disappointing people. You don't want people to have to worry about you. And so somehow, I don't know. So Spirit's working on you getting more comfortable with your emotions, diving deep into your emotions with this Scorpio energy, because you're going to use that emotional intelligence in your career and with your relationships. Okay, so the Prostitute card says, accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. So, the devil, he's all about the material realm, okay? All the earth signs are about the material realm, but the devil card is supposed to really represent that. The devil is complete disconnection from the spiritual realm and being fully immersed in the material. Material realm has really good things like food, shelter, clothing, anything tangible, plants, animals, herbs, all of that is the material realm. But when the devil card comes up, it's often talking about how we're a bit out of balance. Like too much of us is going towards that material realm, which there's nothing wrong with, but we need a balance of spirituality and spiritual perspective. And that is what Spirit is trying to add to your life with the Pisces and the ninth house and the Moon and the High Priestess, is this balance so that you don't feel so dependent on the material, but instead can utilize the material to grow you spiritually. Utilize the material to help you survive, to foster your value system, but not having it own you, not having it be the only part of yourself in your life that matters, having your spiritual side, your soul, your emotions, all of that. So best of luck to you on this journey. Really, really, really. And look up Dark Night of the Soul. I think that would really be helpful for you during this time. You are going to come out of this within 6 months, because that's what the final result, the outcome card is. Immense strength, groundedness, and true psychic ability and psychic awareness. So you're headed in the right direction. Okay, so just don't get discouraged. But thank you so much for coming. It was so lovely to see you here in my home, and I look forward to visiting with you next time. Love you. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello and welcome to your reading. Thank you so much for coming into my home. I'm going to enjoy getting personal with you today. I adore the deck that you chose. This is a newer deck of mine, actually, and it was purchased for my love reading. So if you gravitated towards this deck, it's likely because there's something in your love life that you have questions about or just want to know about. And if not, then I would highly recommend maybe going back to the deck selection and seeing if there's another deck you're drawn to. But if you felt drawn to this one, it could be that Spirit wants to surprise you with something that you didn't know you wanted or needed. So stick around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the deck, and cards will fly out, and I will place them in their positions. And at the end, after I get all the positions filled in, then I'll discuss with you what I'm seeing. Now, while I am shuffling the cards, I would like you to think about and focus on the question that you want answers to, or if you don't have a particular question, then just focus on connecting to your energy. Okay, I have all of the cards laid out. Now, before I get into the cards, I want to roll my astrological die and take a peek at the back of the deck energy to get an overall feel for the reading. The back of the deck energy is the bottom card that's in the deck after all the cards for the reading have been selected. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, we have 10th house, Gemini, and South Node. Okay, so South Node, this could be topics about the past, people, things, ideas from the past kind of coming back into the present, or this could have to do with you kind of being fearful of getting out of your comfort zone or really harnessing your talents. 10th house is about our public image, our career, the legacy we're working towards, and Gemini is about communication and a duality. So maybe like a person having two different sides to themselves, or you and the two different sides within you. So that will all be kind of framing this reading. And the back of the deck energy is 2 of Pentacles. And this is a young boy and girl. And notice the boy is kind of kissing the girl on the side of the hedge. Kind of looks uninterested. But the goats kind of represent that sense of stability. Actually, if you look close, the little girl is trying to shove the boy off of her with her elbow. It's not really focusing. So she's not interested. So this could be someone who is perhaps, this is my love deck, so I'm going to be speaking from a relationship perspective. Interpret it however it fits you, though. This could be a relationship where it started out that you were really not interested in this person. This person chased after you. This person seemed to be obsessed with you, and it could be going back years. Perhaps this was a friendship or someone that you've known since high school or college, or you've been in the same friendship circles for a while. You could have met them through your job as well, and I don't know, I'm just feeling like a sense of obsession coming from their end, at least at the beginning, where you're kind of like, I don't know. And then it feels like it quickly moved towards the opposite, where now you're the one obsessed and chasing after this particular person, and they're the ones that's kind of like, I don't know. And you seem confused, like, okay, was this all a big trick? Like, did I miss something? Or did he used to be interested and now he's not? Like, what's going on? Yeah, that's that Gemini energy. So let's get into the cards. So present position. These two cards will represent the situation that Spirit's going to talk to you about today. All the other cards in the other areas of the spread are going to build on this present situation. The what's, the whens, the hows, the whys, and then eventually get us to what outcome, what final result you're headed towards in regards to this situation. So we have Queen of Cups. So you could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or this situation could have to do with the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and that's being crossed by the Knight of Pentacles. Now that's Earth energy, so Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And Knights are a bit younger of an energy than the Queen. So I am feeling that whoever the Queen is in this situation, I think it's you. You have a sense of emotional maturity about you. That this Knight, he's pretty mature as well, but he's a bit behind, okay? Now, I feel like the Knight of Pentacles, this is a knight who takes action towards stability. This knight wants to plant seeds for the future, wants to carefully tend toward his crops and grow a beautiful field of fruit or veg or whatever, So it feels like what Spirit wants to talk to you about is you being in this emotionally mature stage and really ready to find someone that is serious, that is interested in building a life that can be relied upon, that's going to keep their promises. Okay, so your goal or destiny, this is what you're aiming towards in regards to this situation. We have the Four of Swords. And notice how, this is a ballroom full of, people dancing, but you'll notice this couple or the couples themselves, even though they're surrounded by people, this moment of dancing with one another provides this very private moment, a sense of privacy, like sweet, intimate things said and exchanged with one another. And so I feel like you're wanting a sense of romantic privacy, a romantic private life that is secure, that's yours, that's treasured, that's protected. Perhaps some relationships in the past aired too much of your dirty laundry, for example, opened up to let too many other people in, like maybe your ex, for example, really cared a lot about what his parents thought of you and really let their thoughts and their opinions intrude on your relationship. So it feels like or maybe you did that, with your family and friends. So it feels like what you're wanting is like a relationship that has boundaries between them and others and a sense of privacy and protection, of that love. So distant past, this card's going to talk about an event or a situation or a person in your distant past that's having an effect on this current situation. Distant past is anything from a year ago all the way back to childhood. So at least a year ago, but could go back as far as childhood. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. And you'll notice this couple here, they kind of look older. I'm not sure if you can see. It looks like perhaps they've been married for a long time. The Wheel of Fortune is about kind of a new cycle of learning and expansion and opportunity. And when I see that card, I always imagine that perhaps that couple, their children have just now all grown up and left the house, right? So they've been parents all these years. Their marriage has consisted of raising kids, and now all of a sudden the kids are all married or off to college. And so there's a new cycle beginning for them. Now they're going to have to readjust their relationship and figure out what their relationship is when they're no longer full-time parents, right? So there was some sort of situation in the past, at least a year ago, for you and this other person, or for you and your love life in general, where a new cycle was kind of forced upon you, whether it was a move, whether it was kids leaving the house, whether it was a pregnancy, that now you guys are parents for the first time, now you guys are engaged, or now you're married, or now you are working together, starting a business, like some sort of new cycle sparked all of this and led you to where you are now in this situation. So in the recent past, this will be an event, situation, person, thing within the last year, no more than a year ago, that is having an effect on the current situation. And we have the Judgment card. And you'll notice this lady's blowing the horn. She's like, I'm blowing the horn, that's enough, a wake-up call. So I think that cycle in the distant past led you to this judgment call. It feels like an image was shed, or a perspective on your love life was changed. Something shifted. in the relationship, and I feel that it was on your part. I don't know that you wanted to make the shift. You felt like you had to make this judgment call based on the behavior and the activities and opportunities and circumstances around you, okay? So, but we'll get more into that as I go up this side of the reading. So for now, I want to look at the future influence. So this is an energy coming towards you within the next 3 months, no more than 3 months from now. And several cards came out for this section. Now, the first one that came out was the Three of Cups. And this is a man headed into a brothel, I think. So I wanted to clarify that. And it was clarified by the Tower, okay? So then I wanted to clarify that. And we have the Queen of Pentacles, so Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy. And the Queen of Pentacles is very much focused on stability. She has a sense of confidence about her. But I feel like the Three of Cups, okay? I feel like this is your significant other, or perhaps your love life in general is what this represents. And the Three of Cups to me is representing like 3 options for emotional fulfillment. And it feels like the other, whether that be your significant other or just people in your love life in general, tend to at least think they have more options than you do. It's almost like they equate their relationship with you to their relationship with work or their relationship with friends and family. There's not a sense of, well, my significant other, my girlfriend, my wife takes precedence over these other things. It's almost like it's equal to them. Oh, sorry. Like this person's job is just as important to them as their relationship with you. Does that make sense? Where you really should be put above some of these things. You're equated. So it feels like you are really going to put your foot down in regards to something with this. It's something about options, okay? You're going to put your foot down, and it is going to cause or incite this sort of tower moments of realization. Either for them, it could be a tower moment of realization for them, where they're like, oh, wow, okay, now I see I've been doing things the wrong way, or I'm sorry for this or that, okay? Or it could be a tower moment for you, where you're like, okay, now I see how it is. All right. So yeah, something's going to be cracked open, and it's going to force a restart, okay? Either a restart on this relationship or just a restart for you, yourself in general, because you don't want to be an option. And I don't think you should be an option at all. You do deserve to have someone that puts you above some of these other material, frivolous sort of things in their life. So, okay, so this is the card that represents you in regards to this situation. And we have Four of Pentacles, and you'll see this lovely young woman, and then there's kind of this older man that's admiring her from a distance. It's kind of similar to the energy from the back of the deck, where this girl is not even really noticing the little boy or trying to shove him off of her, and he's like, kissing her. This woman doesn't even realize that this man's behind her. She's just enjoying herself and her time. So that's you in regards to this situation. What I like about your energy is I don't feel that you are overly sweating any of this stuff. You feel confident. And you don't feel like the type of person that chases, okay? You could get frustrated. I think you're frustrated with your environment and the people in it, maybe options, but you put your dignity and your pride above everything, which is good, okay? So I do see that you are being admired. I do see that you are very beautiful as well, very desirable. You invest in yourself, You're the type of person that you want to make sure you look good. You take pride in your body and in the way you do your hair and style yourself and all this. And so it does bring admiration. But you don't just want admiration, you want longevity. So let's look at your environment. Now, this is your environment in general, or people in your environment that you're dealing with. And we have the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups, this is an emotionally immature energy. What's interesting is that the man in the Page of Cups card looks just like the man in this Four of Pentacles card. It's almost like age doesn't even matter, because he looks old enough to be emotionally mature, but he's not. He's just not there. So whatever you're dealing with in your environment, it is not at your level emotionally. I think you know that, though. I think you know that. Perhaps it's time to shift environments. But let's go up the rest of the deck, and then I'm going to pull some love oracles for you to help clarify this. So inner emotions. This is what you are hoping for or fearful of in regards to this whole situation. And we have Ace of Wands. So this could mean that you're fearful of, being cheated on. That's one example. But it could mean that you are fearful of losing the spark, losing the passion in your life, losing your sex life. And what you're wanting is that passion, that excitement, that lust, that creative emotional spark that a relationship brings. I think that's the first wand in this whole reading. Yeah. You want the wand. You want the passion, the excitement. So let's see what you are headed towards. So this is the final result if you stay on track with where you're at. Two very good cards too. So the first card is Ace of Pentacles. This is ultimate stability. This is the ace in the tarot that lasts the longest, that carries the most weight. For some of you, this could be it could be engagement, okay, or like a promise ring, or it could represent an increase in your finances or your status due to your romantic life. Perhaps you're going to marry up or date somebody that has connections in the same field that you do. Somehow, something you're headed towards in the future in regards to your romantic life is going to bring you some sort of financial gain, whether that be through jewelry or money or networking connections. We have Gemini, South Node. Yeah, okay. And then the second card we have is the Star card. And the Star card, this is beautiful because Tower is in the future influence. This is coming within the next 3 months. This big shakeup, some sort of divine intervention, aha moment, crumbling of the tower where you see things for what they are. And what comes right after this card in the tarot is the Star card. Now, the Star card is when you can finally clearly see your purpose. You know exactly what you're supposed to walk towards. It's clear as day. It's that North Star. The clouds are no longer in the sky and you can see it clearly. But the tower had to come down for you to see that star. This tower was blocking your view of that North Star. But because this is coming down, in whatever which way, you're going to be able to clearly see that star. This is Aquarius energy, so it could represent an Aquarius person in this situation. And you're going to be bringing yourself stability. So let me pull from my Romance Angels deck because I want to get some clarity on the reading. So let's take a look. Okay, so first we have trust, then religious factors, codependency, and flirt. Let me read the bottoms of these. So trust, this situation is calling for you to have faith. Religious factors, your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Codependency, addictions are affecting your romantic life. And flirt, extend your lighthearted energy to others. So trust, this is talking about this tower moment that's coming within the next few months. Trust that this is all working out for your favor. All things in your love life and romantic life are for your highest and greatest good because ultimately you are headed towards great stability, a new offer, and clarity on your purpose. Religious factors. So this could have to do with perhaps certain restrictions. You may place certain restrictions upon yourself that are all influenced not by how you really feel or what you really think, but by what society has ingrained in you, what your parents ingrained in you. And this is all in regards to your love life, maybe certain rules you feel you need to follow due to religious factors. And maybe some of those need to be reevaluated. There could also be a big difference of opinion between your religious upbringing and the other person's religious upbringing, and is that going to get in the way or not? This could involve foreign travel or a foreigner as well. Codependency. So this codependency is often about not necessarily an addiction to substances. I mean, it could be. It's often about an addiction to relationships, feeling like you need to be in a relationship to feel stable, or feeling like you have to be single to feel stable, being too far on either spectrum and therefore being kind of codependent on that state, either the state of singleness or the state of togetherness, and that kind of clouding your vision in some sense, okay? And then with the flirt, extend your lighthearted energy to others. I think that would be a great idea because I see in your inner emotions, you want this passion and excitement, but this is the only wand that came out in the reading because you have a very earthy energy to you, a very grounded, earthy energy to you. And the two cards that I most see you in are this back of the deck energy, the Two of Pentacles, which is the girl shoving the boy off of her, and this Four of Pentacles, which is this girl kind of doing her own thing, not even noticing that she's being admired. So I feel like it would do you some good to like tap into that sort of, the Gemini card came up. Gemini is a very flirty, flirtatious sort of energy. Regardless if you're, in a relationship, not in a relationship, flirting is good. It's very good to flirt still when you're together with someone or you've been with them for a long time, right? But even if you're not, I see that you're very focused on stability, right? Sometimes a laser focus on that stability can keep us from kind of the fun, lighthearted parts of that journey towards stability, like the flirting, like the spontaneity, because we're questioning like, well, is this, I don't even want to say it, but like, is this just a booty call? Or, like we need to talk about serious. I need to know what his 10-year plan is. I need to know if he wants kids, like that type of stuff. So I think Spirit's just wanting you to have faith in the situation, a little bit more trust, keep it a little bit more lighthearted, but they do know what you want and they are sending it to you, okay, with the Ace of Pentacles and that Star card. So I hope this uplifted you in some way, especially in regards to your love life. Love life is, that's a tough area of life for most of us. But I see that great things are coming for you, all positive energy coming your way after this kind of freaky tower moment. But I don't think it will be that bad. Spirit never brings forth cards to scare you. So if it was really going to be something that awful, to be honest, they wouldn't bring it out. So it's going to be a good moment. All right. And you're going to get what you want in the end. All right. So just have a little more fun with it. Be a little bit more flirty with it. Thank you so much for coming to my home though. I really enjoyed reading for you and I hope you will come back again and I can do another reading on you. But until then, I will let you go and see you next time. Love you. Bye. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. This is my husband, Fernando, my daughter, Agatha, and don't mind our little kitty Moon. Why don't we go on upstairs to the reading room and get started? Hello, and welcome to your reading. Go ahead, have a seat, get comfortable. There's fresh coffee over this way if you would like any. I actually need to refill mine because this has gone cold, but I would like to say I'm sipping on my coffee. Okay, so I'm excited to get into this reading with you. You all chose a magnificent deck. This was another one of my decks that I bought when I went to New York to visit my sister. It was one that I was looking at online for a long time and just fell in love with it. It is quite large, so you're going to get some really good images through the cards, but it's a bit more difficult to shuffle these and pull jumpers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards as they jump out. I will lay them on their selected places, and when I've finished, we can get into your reading. Now, while I'm shuffling and selecting the cards, I want you to think of the question that you came to this reading for, that you want an answer to. Or if you don't have a particular question, you're just wanting to see what Spirit brings up, then focus on connecting to your energy, okay? Okay, let's get into this reading. Now, before I talk about the cards, I want to roll my astrological die and then take a peek at the back of the deck energy, because that'll give us an overall feel for the reading, what it wants to talk about. Back of the deck is the card at the very bottom of the deck after all the cards for the layout have been selected. So let's first give these a roll. Okay, 7th house of marriage and significant one-on-one relationships and partnerships. Scorpio, which we have a lot of Scorpio energy and water energy on this spread, as well as Sun. So Sun in Scorpio in the 7th house. Scorpio rules the 8th house, which is about our deep intimacy and entanglements with others. And the Sun is about our identity and our, how we stay alive and our self-expression. So I do feel like this is going to be a relationship reading. If you didn't come here for a relationship reading, then I'm certain that Spirit can help interpret this into something else, however it applies to you. But I'm getting strong relationship energy from this. So the back of the deck energy is the Chariot. Aren't these cards gorgeous? So this is Cancer energy. So this whole situation could involve a Cancer. Doesn't have to, but the Chariot is about moving away from something, moving into the future, but also being like wise. It's the opposite of, not the opposite, it's similar to the Fool card is, except the Fool is going into his journey with like no knowledge, no wisdom, like brand new, like baby fresh. Whereas the Chariot has gathered a lot of wisdom and is moving forward into the future with all of that wisdom, okay? Beautiful. All right, so the first two cards here are going to bring up what situation Spirit is wanting to discuss with you. Every other card in this layout is just going to add to this situation, explaining the what's, the hows, the whens, the whys, and then at the end we'll see kind of where you're headed in regards to this situation, what the outcome is. All right, so we have the Fool. Brand new start, fresh start, brand new journey. And crossing that is the King of Hearts. So this could be a water sign male, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This could be a brand new relationship that you've started with this water sign, or maybe it's moving into a new level. Maybe you're moving in with them, and this is the first time you guys have ever lived together, you've ever moved in with someone, or maybe you're freshly engaged, or newly married, or something. This could also be, though, that perhaps you're in this Fool energy of this fresh start because you have moved on from this water sign male, this Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. It doesn't have to be a water sign. Cups and water energy typically just represent like romantic relationships. Okay, so that's kind of why I'm thinking this has to do with romance. Okay, so your goal. This card is going to tell us what you're aiming towards in regards to this situation. And we have the Two of Cups, Two of Hearts. So a harmonious, loving, soulmate sort of relationship, nurturing, loving. You have the beautiful swans there. So this is what you're wanting. This is what you're wanting out of this. This feels exciting, you guys. Okay, so a situation in the distant past that's having an effect on this current situation is Two of Swords. Now, by distant past, I mean anything, event, whatever, from a year ago all the way back to childhood. So somewhere between that time. It could have been just a year ago. It could have been in 1995. And this could represent a cycle or like a single event. And we have Two of Swords. Now, Two of Swords is a woman who is having to make a choice guided only by her own intuition. That's why we see the moon here. So she may feel a bit uncertain. She doesn't have the facts, the logical proof to say, well, you should definitely choose this or you should definitely choose that. She has to make that choice just hoping to trust in her own intuition and that it will lead her in the right direction. So there was some sort of choice that was made at some point that likely led you to where you are now. And how you played out that choice is somehow, it's lingering in your mind. It's having an effect on how you're making decisions right now as you're moving towards the future. Now, in the recent past, so this would be within the last year, in the recent past, an event that's playing a role in what's going on right now is Five of Swords. And this is a energy of like conflict or loss or battle. To me, this feels like someone else who has come to battle against you. It almost feels like someone outside of your love life or your relationships. It doesn't have to be, but that's what I'm seeing with that person. That it almost looks like this woman is like maneuvering the lightning strikes and the swords in the way that she wants. So it feels like someone has interfered recently. Someone has interfered with your love life. It could be like a mother-in-law or a friend or a mistress, or, you definitely know about it, okay? So it's not something that I'm telling you for the first time. It could represent even like a job that's really gotten in the way, or, schooling, or, something. Something has caused conflict here in this goal of yours for this beautiful Two of Hearts, Two of Cups energy. So, in the future influence, this is an energy that's coming towards you within the next 3 months. So anywhere from right now to 3 months from now, no more. And we have the Death card. Isn't that so cool looking? Now, this is Scorpio energy. So this could be that a Scorpio person is coming to you in the near future. Maybe a relationship with the Scorpio. But what the Death card is ultimately about is about complete death and rebirth, transformation of something. moving into a new cycle, you know, and we have Scorpio here on the die as well. So this could also represent like a deepening of a relationship, because Scorpio is all about like intimacy and our bonds and attachments to another person. So things within the next 3 months could be getting really, really intimate, really, really deep, really emotional, really close, and something could be transforming because of that. There could be a phase or a chapter of your life or of who you were that is now being buried. You're no longer that person. You've matured to this, or you've matured to that. Because I'm feeling maturity coming from this card as well. Probably because of the Chariot on your back of the deck energy. You feel like you're really, really maturing. You're no longer as fearful of intimacy. And you're stronger in yourself and what you want. Okay, so this card represents you in regards to this situation. And we have the High Priestess. So this is moon energy, Cancer energy again, but the High Priestess is so intuitive, so in tune with the spiritual realms, with the secrets of the occult and all of that. You guys have this really like dark, alluring, sexy energy about you that I really, really like. Now, a card that represents your environment, the environment you're operating in or the people you're operating with in regards to this situation, is the Devil card. Now, the Devil card is kind of the exact opposite of the High Priestess, because High Priestess is a woman who is fully connected to the spiritual realms, and the Devil is an energy or a person that is fully connected to the material realms. So it's like you're this highly spiritual, psychic, intuitive person, but you're operating with these very material 3D sort of things or people. Now, this could be a Capricorn person. That could be what this is about, that there's a Capricorn person involved in all of this. But there's a big polarity between who you are and what your environment is, okay? I'm not feeling that Devil card is toxic. A lot of times when I pull the Devil, that's kind of one of the standard definitions that you get from the card, but I'm not feeling that way. It feels more of like, I don't know, it almost feels like a superpower couple with the High Priestess and the Devil, because we have spiritual conquest and wisdom and insight coupled with ultimate material power and conquest. It feels like a power couple sort of energy. Okay, so your inner emotions in regards to all of this. So what you're hoping for or fearful of is the Queen of Wands. This is fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But if this is what you're hoping for, you are hoping for friendship, for excitement, for passion, for lust, for creativity, spontaneity, joy. Like this is just a really joyful, sociable, active, fun sort of energy that you're hoping to perhaps embody. Or it could, represent a third-party person that's a fire sign that maybe you're fearful of interfering with all of this. Maybe that's what this Five of Swords is. But that's just beautiful. Okay, so the outcome, the final result. 3 cards came out because I wanted to clarify. So the first card that came out was the Prince of Swords. This is Knight of Swords, so it's air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And a Knight of Swords is like taking action on something. He's going to battle for something right now. He's getting clarity. He's getting answers. He's having that conversation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like he is headed towards that. But I wanted to clarify that. So 2 other cards came out. First, we have the Hanged Man. This is Pisces energy or water energy. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter, Sagittarius energy. So it feels to me, and I think it's in regards to this Five of Swords situation, feels to me that for a long time, you felt you've had your hands tied to this situation. You felt like there's nothing you can do. You don't really have an option. But within the next 3 months, with this maturing, this Death card energy that's coming in, which is great, great maturity, and the fact that you have this beautiful High Priestess energy, strong intuition about you, you are going to abandon this Hanged Man energy of, well, my hands are tied, I can't do anything. And you're going to be like, no, that's it. This is time for a new cycle. I'm moving away from something, and you're coming with me or you're not, but it's time to, it's like you're going to defend or protect something in your love life against this energy, this interference or this negativity. You're going to stand up for it, and you're going to say something, you're going to do something, and then I see movement away, like separation from people who are disrespectful or, don't approve or, You're going to really, a lot of your identity over the next couple of years is going to be through this relationship. I see it being very significant, like potentially marriage, okay? In fact, let me pull some. And so because it's so significant for you, you are going to decide to fight for it or say something or do something about it. And there, again, like I said a couple times, I think you could be moving out of state with this person, to a different town, or moving in with this person, or getting engaged, or some new big cycle is beginning, especially with that death card. So let me pull some of the angel. Okay. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, look at this. Passion. That's what you're hoping for, right? Queen of Wands. It says, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Then we have playfulness. It says, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. That's very Queen of Wands. Passion, playfulness. Then we have children. And it says your love life is being affected by children. So for some of you, there could be pregnancy involved, planned, like maybe that's how this change is going to manifest. Instead of a move, it's like we're becoming parents, something big. And then we have two cards that say soulmate. The first one says calling in your soulmate. This says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. And then we have soulmate, and it says, yes, this is your soulmate. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just going to really deepen over the next few years. And I see you being very protective of this relationship, of this person, in a way that you've never been before, where you're like, no, I'm not going to open up to you about that, or that's not cool to say that about my person, or whatever. You're going to get a lot stronger in that. And I see a lot of maturity around you. So that's beautiful. That's amazing. Comment below. Let me know what this change is. Are you pregnant? Are you getting engaged? Are you moving? I would love to know. But thank you so much for coming into my home for this reading. I enjoy getting personal with you like this, and I look forward to reading for you again in the future. So until then, I will let you go. Love you so much. Bye.